right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
Be right again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Coolbet Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody's tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
Good morning, AM Nasties. What's going on? Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you on a Tuesday morning. I'd like to congratulate the Edmonton Elks on a crowd of 30,000 people on July 28th as they have fired Chris Jones, and many of you weren't going to go to another game until Chris Jones was fired. So looking forward to that lower bowl being damn near packed.
Or
2 weeks from now.
Where are we moving the goalposts now, hey? What's the next?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, now they got to win 2 before I come back.
Yes.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. What a day yesterday. What a day. Shout out to our entire team here at Edmonton Sports Talk for just knocking it absolutely out of the park with coverage yesterday.
You had the guy from Ottawa. We got all we need to know about Robbie Jarventi. Hey,
Roby.
Oh,
his name is actually Roby. I thought they called him Robbie too, but Ross Levitan, who was on yesterday, who, by the way, it's not very often we have a guest on where people are like, this guy's an amazing guest.
Well, the
reaction yesterday was great.
Discussion between the two of you.
Yeah, it was great. I think we're going to start doing more guests on the oil stream, especially in the offseason. But Ross Levitan was great, and he dropped some Roby on us. I was like, damn, I love that. Jeff Jackson managed to land a guy this offseason named Roby. Where does it rank among his best moves?
We'll take a little Roby.
That's what I'm curious about.
Blue chip, a Finn, checking all the boxes for you, hey?
Oh yeah. I got my guy now. I'm like, why is this guy not playing in the top 6 already? Wait until next week's lineups.
How are the hips?
I'm excited already. It should end up being a pretty good time. But yeah, the big news yesterday, the Edmonton Elks in the afternoon pulling the trigger on Chris Jones. I laid down for a nap at like 2:30. And I guess all hell broke loose just after, because I wake up from a nap at like 4, I don't know what time it was, 4 o'clock, right around 4 o'clock. And I look at my phone, and I had 76 missed text messages. And I was like, I never had that in my life. I was like, what the hell is going on right now? And you're trying to wake up from your nap. I'm trying to scroll. I was like, oh my God, they fired Chris Jones.
Did they flip Roby?
Yeah. There's no way people can love the Roby Jarventi trade this much. What's happening right now? But yeah, Chris Jones. So Maddie hopped on yesterday. Jay and Tom Gazzola were down at Commonwealth covering the event. We're going to obviously spend a lot of time on this morning as Rick Lelacheur decides to go to the board, go to the upcoming new incoming owner, and get approval to let Chris Jones go, knowing that they'd have to pay him his salary for the next 12 months. But apparently this just had to happen, yesterday, LTE.
Yesterday at what? Yeah, as you mentioned, 3:34 in the afternoon. Of all the days and all the times, I think a lot of the fan base expecting this to be done, if not yesterday, a year ago, months ago, whatever it is, take your pick. There have been lots of instances where you could have suggested this to happen, and Lelacheur mentioned, last season, obviously, and things are constantly going through his mind in terms of that. But I think, and he said it kind of slyly and tongue-in-cheek, but the 3 straight walk-off. I mean, even for I think football people know, if you follow this team closely, the talent's there. They've been close. Just don't cut it, though.
Yeah,
and don't cut it in this organization where you need the casual fan on board. And the taste right now is just so putrid. You needed to do something. And it was more so than just giving a different quarterback a look.
I mean,
in terms of fan interest and all that.
This team had just gone through a losing stretch that no other team in the history of the league has ever dealt with. In the fact that they lost on 3 consecutive walk-off winners, right?
Yeah.
This team is not far off. They really aren't.
No, but you go back before that. I mean, it's a handful of home wins. It's not making the playoffs. Like
they're 2-27 in the last 29 at home.
Yeah, but it was this one, the 3 in a row, the walk-off field goals that kind of were his ultimate undoing. But no, I said yesterday too, and I was speaking with Maddie. This is one of those instances where you feel like a few windows have been opened and some fresh air creeps in. Good on Lelacheur to identify. He said the season's in 3 parts, and this is where my Memphis Mad Dogs are also going to have to listen here because season ain't over yet, not by a long shot. You're coming out of phase 1, phase 2 will come up, and then phase 3. So yes, I think we've all said too, and if you know your football, this is a roster with some talent on it. Some warts certainly, but some talent, and you can do certainly not 0-5. I wouldn't suggest. So he's looking at this and saying, "Hey, we're committed. We're getting into this thing," and I think that's a good signal to the fan base, both the hardcores and the casuals.
Lots of coverage of this coaching and general manager change here today on Edmonton Sports Talk. Here today on the Nielson Show. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox. 22 locations across 4 provinces in our wonderful country. Check out their website, www.parisjewelers.com. Actually, I might have to make a visit by there today because I've got my 14th wedding anniversary tomorrow. I don't know what I haven't even looked up what's the present supposed to be for 14 years. I mean, it can't
an odd one, eh?
It's got to be a weird one. What is it, velvet?
That'd be nice.
I don't know what it would be for 14 years.
Ivory.
Ivory.
The traditional gift is ivory. The modern gift is gold jewelry, of course. You probably say that that's that big gold getting in there.
Course.
Every year's big. Yeah.
How does big gold money end up popping up everywhere? My God. So what could I get?
You're finding Tammy like an elephant tusk, like a real rare. Illegal.
What do you think of this?
Got this off the black market.
This is awesome. How much you pay for it? $12,000.
Yeah. Happy 14.
It's a small elephant tusk. Please save it somewhere special. Anyway, there might be a trip in my future here to Paris Jewelers. Must have some ivory stuff at Paris Jewelers, right? You think I get her a bar of soap?
A little piece of ivory.
Clean yourself. I love you.
Happy 14.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Nielson Show is presented to you by the fine folks over at South Fort Chev, where they were floored yesterday at the Chris Jones news. The Daniel and Claire and everybody else South Fort Chev, I can't believe it. They closed the location for a couple of hours.
70 of the 76
so they could all
texts were
regroup.
from them. Yeah,
exactly.
What's going on?
South Fort Chev's been closer than anything since 1983. Just a short drive is worth it to find the best deal at the best price. Go see Daniel and his team at South Fort Chev. Tell them we sent you, and they'll take excellent care of you. You'll also get 15% off accessories on your new ride. Where else are you getting that? Boom. Love it. That's outstanding. I think you have to be pretty happy about that. So we got a lot to get to on the show today. A lot to get to as we work our way through the program. The inbox is already taking a good old-fashioned pounding today. Surveyor Brett's in with a halloo on a Tombstone Tuesday. I'm wearing my "You're a Daisy If You Do" shirt today. Yeah. I almost wore something else today. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm going through my closet this morning, and I was gonna wear like a button-up shirt, and then I was like, wait a second, it's Tombstone Tuesday. What do you do? Like. To me to myself when I almost wore something else.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
Pretty much.
Commando Tuesday given this heat, hey?
Well, we're in a weird spot with the air conditioning because yesterday afternoon when we all left, it was super chilly in here.
Great.
And then I came in today, and the thermostat's like,
warning.
things have been running for 16 hours, but the temperature's gone up 2 degrees. So, but Trev, did you say the air conditioning guy said he was coming back today?
Yeah, he said he was gonna stop by,
Monitor the
he stopped
situation.
by on Friday because one of our AC units is down. So
Yeah.
he's
When
gonna.
they were working on it yesterday. He was here yesterday.
He's a big
after you
fan
left.
too, eh?
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope he's coming back in.
This is
Yeah.
Iwan's got an office. He casually slips into the.
Yeah, this guy, he didn't say like,
Real
hey, I
smooth.
listen to the show, but I'm like, okay, so here's how it all works. And I go to Matt's office. I'm like, and then there's one in here. And he goes, Matty's got an office. I was just like, oh, you must listen. So thank you very much for that. Anyway, if you're listening this morning, not necessarily sure it's working again, but maybe we'll see how it goes throughout the day. 780-218-9999. Teacher Arlo to the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. Checking in from Tokyo. Let's put it on the map. I put 3 pins on the map yesterday. We got
Well, we're in Vietnam.
we got Saigon,
Yeah.
which has a different name now. It's got a name change, I guess, apparently. So we found that we're in Vietnam. We're in the Philippines yesterday, and on an island in Lake Huron.
Yes, right.
Yeah, me and the boys struggled yesterday as we looked at that map with the Great Lakes. Maddie
Yes.
and I were like, we know that one's Michigan, but which one's Superior and which one's Huron? We had to look it up. Pretty sad, but whatever. Anyway, enjoy your trip to Tokyo, Teacher Arlo. That's pretty cool. I like that one. Dr. J to the inbox this morning says, if you're getting ready for work this morning, you're probably not Chris Jones. Ooh. But he's going to get paid for the next 12 months.
Yeah,
so that's worse things have probably happened, I think. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Burglar's in as well and says, what did most of the Calgary Stampede bull riders have in common with the Elks? They both experienced chaos and then got thrown off in a matter of 8 seconds. It's good because they lost in 8 seconds. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
There, that's a good one. Good morning, boys. Can I get a conch for my new pup, Jasper? A rescue from the home of the Condors, Bakersfield, California. So he's a keeper. Comes with a lifelong no movement clause, obviously. Thanks, Jonty in Victoria. Sent pics of his dog, too. That's a cute little puppy. Let's get a conch for Jasper today. Probably going to scare him. He's going to piss all over your floor. That's funny. That's a good one as well. All right, so that's how it works. Paris Jewelers inbox is where you can text us if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Please feel free to hit us up over there as well, and we'll get to a bunch of those as we work our way through the show as well, which is presented by South Ford Chevrolet. Employee pricing. How's this? 0% financing. And up to $18,000 in savings on select in-stock 1500s. Some condition apply. Oh, boy. What are you? Everybody's working for these guys now? Man, it's wild. They're just hiring AM nasties. I don't technically 100% understand employee pricing, but I see you.
Lance starts today.
Lance is out there. We're swinging out to see them. There's Lance Kane standing there. He's like, hey, can I help you? What's going on? I got the employee pricing. How'd you get that? They hired me. That's
See you at the tailgate in 2 weeks' time.
That's awesome. Bill is in to the Paris Jewelers inbox and says, guys, can I please get a conch from my favorite person? She's being transferred to another medical facility this morning. Number 3 since Friday. They're still trying to figure out what the issue is. I'm a little bit worried. Bill, our thoughts are with you, man.
Bill.
Our thoughts are with you, Bill. Let us know how it goes. And Ken to the Paris Jewelers inbox. She's a spicy meatball so far this morning. Morning, boys. Yesterday's firing is exactly the reason that EST needs a drive home show for year 2. Also, I really want a better option. Well, I need to throw that in there.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not reading it, but
Sure.
we agree. Yeah, what a novel concept.
Hey,
we'll have to see what we can do.
Great idea. Put it down on the. You want to drop this?
Yeah,
puppy
you know
down?
what? Let me see. Let me just write this down.
Who said it? We want to give credit.
Yeah,
where
who
credit's
is
due,
it?
yeah.
Ken said it.
Ken said it.
I gotta give Ken credit. Ken says we should have an afternoon show.
That's an Esty-worth idea there.
Yeah. I mean, Ken, I'm going to say you should probably try to be at the Nasty Bash next Friday. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. Leave it there for now. Let me lay out the show for you. We'll dive into your morning announcements here. We got a busy one, though. Busy one, obviously. Huge shout out to both Jeff Jackson for providing us with, we could have done a whole Roby Jarventi show today. And it would have been spectacular. Like, we could have. I mean, it's the summer. We could have done it. But so he's kept us busy. And now the Elks just adding fuel to the EST fire here. This is terrific stuff. Tom Gazzola had a chance to go one-on-one with Jarious Jackson yesterday, the interim head coach of the Edmonton Elks. I mean, if you're going to promote one of those two guys to interim, Jackson's been here longer, and his portion of the team has been working so far this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So
yeah, and I think Jason Shivers as well. And I don't want to get too far down the path here, but more of a guy brought in from the Jones camp. So Jarious moves on. I mean, Geroy as well. Everybody, Lechaeure's familiar with Geroy out in BC.
yeah, they have a BC connection there too.
Orca Driver asks, does Jones get his own tombstone for Tuesday? I think it's hilarious that he has been here for 3 years this go-round, and yet the only coach clip that still gets played is Cavis Reed.
Yeah, well, but
good point.
Cavis was eccentric.
He could help from the outlandish. Like, he could turn away from it.
Cavis was an all-timer.
Yeah.
Cavis was a one-of-one. We're going to have Tommy Gazzola's quick chat with Jarious Jackson. We'll go there just after 6:30 today as well. If you missed it yesterday, Luke Gazdick's rolling into town for a charity event. More details on the Feast on the Field coming up here before 7 o'clock. Farhan Lalji, this is an early one for Farhan. I mean, he's on the Pacific Coast.
I usually ask him to join the show. He says, it's too early.
Yeah.
Talk to you again. I say, thank you very much.
Not when I fire him a text. I think he's coming to Calgary to work that Lions Stamps game with us. So I'll see him in Calgary on the weekend. Probably have a meal at the Weston Keg with Farhan at some point this weekend. So that's exciting. Anyway,
Lucky.
Farhan's going to join us. He was all over this news yesterday, one of our CFL and TSN insiders. So he's going to join us around 7:05 today. We'll get your Coolbet hotline of the day. Weekly confessions for Spectrum Rental. We'll go there around 7:30. Rick Lelacheur, the interim president of the Edmonton Elks, will join us. He'll take us through the whole process of how they came to the decision, what hurdles needed to be checked and cleared to pull the trigger on the Chris Jones firing yesterday. We'll get into all of that as we work our way through the show. I mean, the one quick question is, and I'll let you know what's coming up in the third hour here too. But and if you're watching on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up, sub to the channel. Closing in on 9,500 subs, less than 40 away. So let's hammer that subscription button. But does this win you over again a little bit? If you're one of those Elks fans who have given up, are you back? Are you going to go purchase tickets to the game against Hamilton on the 28th? Because they've done something that you wanted them to do. I'm curious. Elks fans, casual Elks fans, where are you at on this move? 780-218-9999. We will get to kind of easy trivia. We will get to 3 questions too many. We will get to That Hurts for SBLLP. Joaquin Gage will pop by just after 8:30 today. And hey, if you're looking to cool down this afternoon, and when we're looking at 30 for like 8-9 days. Here.
Oh, we're back. We're back, baby. You had your reprieve.
This is so stupid.
Hope you enjoyed it.
I'm going to hate this. Anyway, if you're looking to cool down, our partners at Alley Cat have some stuff for you. So we'll get into that a little bit.
This is Hernan. This is me.
The show as well. You guys are that.
I love the heat.
That
man.
arm wrestling.
Yeah. It sucks when you suffer with it. And again, I hope Trev's got a plan this week. We'll get into more of that as the week rolls on. But yeah, stay cool for sure.
Let's get to your morning announcements here for 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock. 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock, Yukon and McCord every single morning. And Jess Jackson on the way home in the afternoon. What is up with Dave the Welder? In celebration of Ken coming up with great ideas in regards to an afternoon show, I have a pile of kittens to give away. Free to whoever wants them. Dave the Welder. They're ready to go.
Some sort of...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 kittens.
Oh, and he's serious. I thought this was some joke.
No. He's got the sweet 16. There's 16 kittens.
Okay, well, I will...
If somebody wants a free cat, let us know. We'll get you in touch with Dave the Welder. These are cute little kittens.
I know somebody in the market here.
You're in the market for a kitten.
This is one of those things.
Oh, well, here you go. You should take 16 of them.
Yeah, but...
I want you to go from 0 kittens to 16 kittens. Trev, you want a kitten?
Herding
I was
cats.
just gonna say, LT, definitely get one. There we
Yeah,
go.
you should definitely get one.
This is the universe
Look at
speaking.
that.
One
You
of
have
those
so many
things.
to pick from.
Which one would you take?
I kind of like that.
Should we have a draft?
Gray one.
Look at that. That gray one's the
The gray
unique one.
one's
There's
very
2 white
cool.
ones. There's
What
a gray
about
one.
the orange one?
Yeah, there's 14 orange,
That's the
13
most
orange ones.
kittens I've ever seen.
That
in my
reminds
life.
me of our cat.
I don't mind an orange cat.
Rest in peace, Jazz.
Tell you that.
Very good cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's man.
Interesting.
David, well, you're in business.
Talk to me later.
You're a
That'd
lucky
be so
guy.
awesome. Then you can bring it in the office.
No, we're not having a cat in
And
the
we
office.
can, we
No,
can
no,
say
no,
we
no,
can
no.
say hi.
No, I hate cats. We're not having a cat in the office. Are you nuts?
Okay.
My God. All right, let's get into your morning announcements. Obviously, more on the firing of Chris Jones and Jackson and Geroy taking over. Looks like they will not have somebody come in and do both jobs next time. So that's probably the way to go there. Tom Gazzola with Jarious Jackson just after 6:30 this morning. The Edmonton Oilers did pull the trigger on a trade yesterday. Xavier Bourgault and Jake Chason to the Sens for Roby Jarventi and a 4th-round pick. If you want more on Roby Jarventi, go back to the Oil stream yesterday. We had Ross Levitan on from Locked On Sens. Absolutely tremendous guest. It's worth checking out. I think Zach just posted his interview actually over on our video section at YouTube, so you can go check that out as well. In their February prospect rankings, Roby Jarventi was 5th on the Sens list. Now, that would have been pre-draft, so obviously after you add another draft class in there, bounce him down a little bit. But they're going out and trading Bourgault, who was probably around their 4th to 6th, 7th best prospect for the Ottawa Senators. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th best prospect. So classic. This is a classic midsummer fresh start for 2 guys scenario, right?
Oh, yeah.
3 guys, I guess, if you include
Cleaning out the closet, so to speak. Hey, you're
Yeah.
going through what can we donate, what can we give away, what can we, and then you get a little something in return. So that's nice as well. And I
You
think
get an extra pick out of it as
yeah,
well.
the
so.
pick, a little bit of what would you call that? A little currency, right?
Yeah.
Like you're moving forward.
Well,
if you
Levitan
want.
yesterday on Oil Stream did say he thinks Jarventi's a highly skilled player, and he was a little surprised that they moved him. Now,
Injury issues, right?
But
Was
he
that a
also
thing?
said he injured his knee in late November, has not been on the ice regularly since.
That's fine. This team's
Working
got
on
patience
trying-
right now.
yeah,
right?
well, and that's the thing.
Go, it's not happening now.
No.
in this group, you can rate with
Yeah,
Roby.
I think you've seen what you needed to see from Xavier Bourgault. This is not one of those ones, and I'm sure there might be some of you who would text in and be like, "Oh, did they give up on him too soon?"
Well,
I don't think that's the situation.
but there will
Plus,
be a
you're bringing in
handful, yeah.
another player who has potential. So,
Somebody's going to watch him intently. So
yeah.
there's the rest of it. Oh, well, could have had.
look, Jarventi scored more goals by the end of November than Bourgault did. Bourgault did the entire season in the American Hockey League. So, I would describe this as a tidy piece of work
Yeah.
for Jeff Jackson yesterday.
And again, these types of deals, not really familiar with how this organization has been running the past little while. These are nice things. Good little. I mean, again, it's house cleaning. I think you've moved out a couple of people and then getting the pick though too. That's it's a nice.
Yeah.
Little things. Not
Just
headline
an
grabbers, but
extra
just
little pick there.
real nice.
Extra little pick. Teoscar Hernandez wins the home run derby. Teoscar home run song on the way. We'll get to that just after 6:30. It worked for him. We played it twice yesterday.
Absolutely.
It was the sound of the day yesterday. Ended up getting it done. The highlight, well, it's a low light, but the anthem. The anthem was absolutely butchered at the home run derby last night. They've got all the home run guys standing on stars with their hands over their
Looked like
chests.
a video game, actually. If you
Yeah.
squint,
It actually
like,
kinda
Emma,
did.
the show is so good. You're like, what the heck? What are
But
we-
then there was this performance.
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
With broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting through the night, that our flag was still there.
Drama. Pause.
Saved us that star-spangled banner yet wave.
Bring it home.
For the land of the free,
Oh my God! Even Roseanne Barr somewhere right now is like, God, she sucked. I
Carl
mean,
Lewis, eh?
she looked miserable the entire time. Like, go watch her sing. She didn't want to be there. Looks like she pulled her off the bloody street.
What's the angle?
I don't know.
Like, is that how she's like? I know sometimes it's the lights are big. You maybe get the wrong tone in your ear. You can't get the.
God, yeah,
is
she
that how
should have
she
had one of
normally
those things.
sounds? Well, is that how she normally sounds? Like
I don't know.
I feel like I'm missing something here, or was it just? Did she flub it? Is that how she's?
I really thought she was going to bring it home strong at the end, but didn't happen.
You did, eh?
Oh my God.
There were times when you could have, at the end of the line, they kind of go on with the word. She'd stop it real quick.
Yeah.
It was
Just all over the place.
the whole pace of it was.
Just sing the damn song.
Tyson is in and says, this chick is actually a good singer.
So, yeah.
Just the style doesn't work in a stadium.
Because I feel like we're missing, something's not adding up. Who would? Okay, so there's people applying for this. Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Can you do it like that again?
Yeah, they all said that. We're going to need you to do the exact same thing.
Like, how
for
does it
us.
get to this point? Come on.
So
And country singer,
Congratulations.
I guess I heard. I don't know what constitutes as country music anymore, but
I'll tell you what she's not. She's not an anthem singer.
well,
I mean, you put anybody throw the old auto-tune on in the studio when you're in the beat laboratory. I mean, you can probably make some people sound good, but
play the anthem off YouTube.
that was a tough one. I like this
No
one from Rip
lyrics.
City Step says, I hope they play that version at the Olympics for the gold medal ceremonies.
Be awesome.
Oh, the United States have won another medal. I don't want to do it to you again, but I got to hit that end one more time. Like, nobody's ever asked you to take the free part for that long of a run. Free.
For the land of the free.
It went all the way around.
Hit them all. Hey, when you say the free part near the end, we're going to need you to do every musical note. We want all of them. We want
Your best auto tune.
we want the whole scale.
I turned it off. I was ready. I sat down. I said, "Wife, let's go." We got the home run derby, and then that was it.
Owen in the nasty chat this morning says, they say she won a Grammy. I'm guessing it was for spoken word. Look, I mean, she got her big opportunity there. I mean,
Didn't work.
I mean, I don't want to be too much of a jerk, but it sucked. I mean, the anthem sucked. We'll save things with the Teoscar Hernandez home run song coming up. Get to that on the other side here. Tom Gazzola, one-on-one with Jarious Jackson yesterday after it was announced that he will be the interim head coach of the Edmonton Elks for the rest of the season. And your reaction to 780-218-9999. Are you back? Are you back on board with the Edmonton Elks?
Library Pat still has a wish list of things that'll have to get him back. I want to know, if not why, and if not what.
Yeah, so what's next?
Because
Chris Jones is fired, so
yeah, because you and I have been hearing it, and that's all it has been. And I understand. I get that. But if not now, what? Airs Library Plat. Just a few. 1, getting the games from my end of town southeast more difficult now. No park and ride. Valley Line doesn't go direct. 2, team bungled my season seat refund in 2020. Pissed me off. 3, I'm just getting old. My tolerance for sitting outside and lousy weather is pretty much nil. So not all the team's fault, but a factor nonetheless.
you say
Library
his
Pat.
tolerance for sitting outside?
I will see him maybe 1.5 of those 3 points. You can stand by the bar with us, Pat. I'll
The
prop you
only
up.
way Pat's coming back is if they dome it. They have to dome the stadium.
Yes.
Lelacheur, it's time to step up, man. Was it read that last time? Is this Pat in the county?
Yeah.
What
well,
a beauty. What a
No,
beauty.
Library Pat.
Oh, Library Pat.
His first
God.
text was, "I'm glad Jones is gone, but I'm
Yeah.
not going back to EE anytime soon. Multiple issues, not all are the team's fault." He's
Okay,
just
yeah,
say that.
yeah.
Really glad they made the move, though. Library Pat, he's He's not a negative guy. He's
No, he's a
positive.
beauty. We met the
But I kind of
The last point was really funny, though.
I said, shoot your shot here. So
Right.
getting in the games makes sense. I get that. The transportation, that makes sense.
not
That's
ideal.
fine. Bungling your season seat refund in 2020, I understand.
That would frustrate
communication
you.
with
Yeah.
customer service and all that. Number 3, and now he's kind of playing down. He's like, I need more. I just have 2. I'm just getting old. My tolerance for sitting outside in lousy weather is pretty much nil.
Okay, in lousy weather.
So not at all the team's fault, but a factor on this. I get that, but
yeah,
it
but
wasn't
I mean,
lousy.
it was 23. It was
I know.
beautiful on Sunday.
And that's why I think at number 3, he was like, oh, I got to add something else
I
in
thought
there.
it was just his tolerance for sitting outside.
Look, I'm just...
And listen, guys, I just can't sit outside anymore.
No, he just
That's
can't
it.
take it. Can't take it.
I want to have people. The texts are flying today, so it's good. But I want people to give us like the most strange reason they won't go back to watch an Elks game, because just sitting outside in general is a really good one. Like, what are you, allergic to the sun? Like, there's a lot of good ones that we can have there.
fair-haired people out there.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can get in to the Paris Jewelers inbox today. One of you will end up winning text of the day for A&W. Tomorrow is National Hot Dog Day. Tomorrow at all A&Ws, buy one whistle dog, get a second whistle dog for $1 to celebrate National Hot Dog Day. That is happening at all A&W locations tomorrow. Be ready. Whistle dogs for $1. Buy one, get one. God, you gotta be excited about that. All right, let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric. Tom Gazzola with Jarious Jackson coming up in the second half of the 6 o'clock hour. If you're watching over on YouTube today, please sub to the channel as we close in on 9,500 subs, and hammer the thumbs up for us as well this morning. Changing 69. Let's hammer towards that 100 here by the time this guy's done his update. Hammer the thumbs up if you're watching over on YouTube right now. And, of course, if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please just text the link to EST to all of your buddies so they, too, can join in on the fun this morning.
After an 0-5 start, the Elks firing head coach and GM Chris Jones yesterday. During his second tenure with the club, he went 8-33. Well, the team hasn't made the playoffs since 2019. Geroy Simon takes over as interim GM, while offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jarious Jackson will take on the role of interim head coach. Elks kick off Week 7 on the road in Ottawa Friday night. Prospects back in action tonight. They host Saskatoon down at Sherwood Park's Centennial Field 9. Riverhawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield, as the West Coast League's All-Star Game will go tomorrow from Joe Martin Field out in Bellingham. 5 Riverhawks will represent the club. Teoscar Hernandez capturing the home run derby, beating out Bobby Witt Jr. 14-13 in the final round. The All-Star Game goes tonight from Globe Life Field in Arlington. First pitch 6 o'clock. Anthem's probably at around 5:55. Jays are back home to host the Tigers on Friday.
Major leagues. There's a high fly ball to right, and this ball's gonna go another home run. A grand slam for Teoscar.
Oh, Teoscar Hernandez, the one that got away. I really do respect the Blue Jays for having a great lineup, then completely tearing it apart and making it worse.
Well, at the time, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, my God.
It is tough to see.
The Toronto Blue Jays.
Hey, you had your Vladdy fun last summer, right? It's time for somebody else to.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? You had yours.
I guess Marshall
That
sat
was-
down yesterday. He was about to get in the bath. He said, son, he goes, I love the home run derby. He goes, when's Vladdy up? I said, Vladdy's not in the home run derby this year, son. He's like, oh. Then he went to get in the bath. Like, he was done. He was done. Nielson Show brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. 0% financing and up to $18,000 in savings on select in-stock 1500s right now with the employee pricing that goes until the end of July. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. For all you who are wanting to come to the Nasty Bash, I do believe, might have to double check, but I think Matty Iwanek sent out a Nasty Bash email yesterday in the late afternoonish. If not, it'll come first thing this morning, I believe. And you'll have 2 days to RSVP. Nasty Club members, you'll have the first crack at that. And then after we figure out how many Nasty Club members have already booked up spots for the Nasty Bash, we'll open it up to everybody else. Next Friday, St. Albert Rugby Club, around a 6 o'clock start. And we will have ourselves a little Friday night. Should be a lot of fun. Many of the Nasty Clubbers haven't met Zacticum or YouTube Trev because they weren't there last year. So it'll be a pretty good time. And we've got
They'll have a table for 2 hours, right? Just set up to kind of introduce themselves.
Zacticum's going to have a kissing booth. We're going to be doing 6 o'clock or lager baptisms. And we got a major announcement going down at the Nasty Bash next Friday night. So that should be a lot of fun as well. Bones to the inbox this morning. I'll go back to Commonwealth when Joaquin Gage finally gets to work the till. Oh, right? Yeah. Gager's just been in the back slinging weens and burgers for a long time now.
Keep the pressure on.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody, Dave in Section T's got an ivory tip for you if you're still in the anniversary gift.
Oh, here we go. So. Hey, guys, legal ivory in Canada includes walrus tusk, narwhal, and mammoth.
Ooh, the narwhal.
There is at least one place in Edmonton you can buy legal ivory if you're keen to stray tradition. What? You
get her the big narwhal.
You tell me,
right?
That would be great. I hand it to her and I go, I hope you know, like the
There's
narwhal
lots of things you could do there.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
That'd be great.
All right. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Hot take Kev over there as well.
Yeah.
The psychology of CFL hate will be something I don't think I'll ever understand. Sure, the Elks got issues, but sure, I'd love to see 30,000 in the stands at Commonwealth on the regular again. It is, the whole psychology of people just hating on CFL.
But it's Canadiana to a T. We are so Americanized. We don't have like Degrassi Junior High. If that was coming up, this is crap. This is TV, movie, anything, any entertainment, music, you name it. It's all Americanized. If it's Canadian, it's not good. So that's that kind of perception. I think that
it's a highly entertaining league. Like you sit down and watch CFL games in the weekend, you'll be like, damn. That was actually really fun.
And same with the Elks. And I know a lot of people 0-5. 0-5 is a bad record. That's a bad look. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you've been watching the games and seeing this team play, how close can you get?
They're a pretty entertaining offensive team.
It's probably the best 0-5 team ever assembled.
Hergy Miala had a touchdown catch that he leaped out for in double coverage, and Eugene Lewis made a one-hander.
I've been saying, great in fantasy, bad in reality.
Yeah.
That's your Edmonton Elks 2024.
All right, so Jarious Jackson has been tasked with saving the season. He's their offensive coordinator. He is now also their interim head coach. And as part of the bonus for him yesterday, he got to go one-on-one with our wonderful Tom Gazzola. Let's go to Tommy with Jarious Jackson yesterday after the announcement.
Jarious Jackson, head coach and offensive coordinator of the Edmonton Elks. I'll just ask you, how does that sound, first of all?
Oh, it sounds good, but it's due to unfortunate circumstances, right? It's always tough, Dave, when you lose a great friend of yours that was the head coach and Coach Jones, and he was doing his best to bring this community a winning team and a winning organization, and we felt a little short in supporting him and helping him do that. But on the flip side of things, when one door closes, another one opens. I know this is probably not the most ideal situation for most people, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna try to finish what Coach Jones started.
You've been around this league for a long time, player, now coach. We've seen coaching changes mid-season around the league. Guys are close, tight-knit community. From your experiences, what you know, when there is a coaching change in season, how can a team best adapt on the fly and salvage something?
Well, the best way is to just continue to go out and play, right? Like for us, I think we have a great group of guys in that locker room. I feel like we have a great group of guys on the second floor, and the business side of things support us wholeheartedly. So for us, I think it's going to be, like I was saying earlier, just keep believing, having hope, and that's what we're going to be pumping into these guys, pumping positivity, and just understanding that we're only a play away. Like for the past few weeks, I know it sounds like a broken record, but we've been 1 or 2 plays away. There's normally 5 or 6 plays in a game that determine the outcome of a game, and so we just got to be better at not flubbing those up and giving teams, kicking the ball out of bounds or giving teams, great field position, right? So we need to play the field position game a little bit more. We need to offensively stay on the field more and just continue to put points on the board.
All right, you are the offensive coordinator as well and have been. Your team has put points on the board. You get those late TDs yesterday. To those saying we want to see Trey as opposed to McLeod Bethel Thompson, you're the guy at the helm. What would you tell those that are pushing for something that maybe you're not ready for?
Well, McLeod is our starter, and he's going to be our starter. And now, one thing that I am going to talk to the staff about is potentially, interjecting, Dakota or Trey a time or two here and there. That doesn't mean McLeod is not our starter, though. So I'm saying that, firmly. He is our starter, but, we're going to do what we need to do in order to win games.
How about handling your staff and dealing with the guys and being the go-to sounding board? Do you think it's going to be tougher to be the head coach, and do you have to give more of a kick sometimes as opposed to being able to be the voice and the guy that players can lean on? Do you see a change in that?
No, as of right now, I don't. I mean, we'll see if that changes as we move forward. But as of right now, I'm going to be me. And like I said, I think I have a great support staff with the guys that are downstairs on the second floor. I've worked with those guys a lot of years now, and they know what I expect offensively. I mean, me moving into the head coaching position, it's not going to be anything different as far as where the bar is set.
Jarious, I know there's probably some fans saying, what kind of changes are you going to implement? Come on, Jarious, you got to change something quickly to get this thing going. Like you said, a couple plays away from wins, absolutely. But do you already have the mind working, some things in mind that you're going to switch up? I don't want to give away anything that you might be slipping in pretty quick here.
Well, of course I do. I mean, there's a few things that come to mind right now. Like I said, I won't discuss. I think it's more internal than anything. But yeah, there's a few things that come to mind, and again, I'll brainstorm with the staff as well. But for myself personally, yes, I do have a few things that I'll probably switch up a little bit.
How excited are you to be a head coach in this league?
Very excited. I think this has been an opportunity that I've always wanted, but like I said, unfortunately the way it's happening. But coaches get hired and fired all the time. So.
Yeah, very true. Congratulations on a bittersweet day. Thanks for the time, Jarious.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, nice chat with Tom Gazzola there and Jarious Jackson. Asked about the Trey Ford situation. You kind of had to get into that, I think, because people have been wanting to see it. He did say McLeod Bethel Thompson is our starter, but he did seem more willing to find a way to work Trey Ford in than Chris Jones had been at any point he'd been asked about.
And as a quarterback, perhaps, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, I think most of this working Trey Ford in was seen as...
He mentioned Dakota Prukop as well.
Yeah, which is very nice. And look, I think you go back to Kai Loxley. I know somebody texted in earlier in Jones' handling of quarterbacks. This isn't new in this market. In going back to his time in Regina, I know Vernon Adams Jr. was part of that group as well. He ultimately left. Wanting Kai Loxley to come in and do things last year that Kai Loxley didn't want to do outside of being a quarterback. Same kind of vibe with Trey Ford. Jarious Jackson's interesting. You look at his playing career, being part of that 2011 BC Lions team that also started 0-5 and went on to win the Grey Cup. We're actually 1-6 as well. But Jarious Jackson, throughout his career, were part of rooms as well with Travis Luley that teams would use multiple quarterbacks, 2, maybe 3 at times, to get through a season. He knows the importance of that. So I think that's refreshing to hear as well. I'm all for seeing a bit of Trey Ford. I don't think it should be static. I'm a full believer in when you have an 18-game at least regular season, you should have multiple quarterbacks ready to go, interchanging maybe in certain schemes and packages. Obviously, if you want to anoint a starter, have a 1A guy for sure. But why not get him in there? Get him loose, keep him feeling the game. And for Trey Ford, in terms of McLeod, but these are two different quarterbacks. You want to talk about keeping an opposing defense on its heels. No better way than to do that. And then, as you mentioned, too, quite astutely, throwing in Dakota Prukop to the mix. Why not? You have 3 quarterbacks here who are perfectly capable of playing. They're not raw rookies. They know the league already. Use them. It doesn't have to be a controversy. It doesn't have to be that one's coming for the other's job or, Trey Ford's on the field. That means MBT's been playing. No. Different looks, different scenarios, different situations. And I think Jarious Jackson, he's been a part of that during his playing career. And hopefully that's implemented a little more, not such a static... Because, again, I know we're not identifying MBT as the issue here, and the offense certainly has it. And somebody in the nasty chat, too, is saying, Jackson's the coach, cool. Why did Gino only have 2 receptions? Why did we stop running Brown after the first quarter? There's questions on offense, too.
Yeah.
But I think this
they still scored 34 points
I
in
know.
that ball game,
the whole package, it's the least of the concerns, and it should be. However, I mean,
Sure.
Seeing a little Trey Ford, seeing a little Dakota Prukop on certain schemes and packages, I'm all for it.
You don't want to get Gino more involved, but one of the reasons Gino Lewis
He doesn't have to
hasn't
be
been
right
getting, well, you've got Curly Gittens Jr., you've got Dylan Mitchell, you've got Hergy Mayala. Like they're a very deep team at receiver. It's hard for any of those guys. Like,
but for the casual fan, and you and Maddie were talking about yesterday, money that could have been spent in other areas.
in the
terms
NBC
of-
situation.
Well, just receiving as
Yeah.
well. You've got a whole stable of receivers.
Yeah.
Curly Gittens Jr. is your Canadian guy. You got Hergy Mayala in here as well.
Well, Hergy was kind of like a last second sort of ad.
Sure.
You're like, hey, maybe we can fit this guy.
But we
in.
talk
He's got
about the
5
O-line.
touchdowns
We
now.
talk about, maybe any experience in the secondary and places where you could go, maybe using that money to kind of shore up these more larger deficiencies as opposed to adding to what you've already had. So, to the original point, I'm all for seeing a little Trey Ford or Dakota Prukop. I just don't think it needs to be, we need to bring them in and have them start a game. No, it's. I think you got 3 good quarterbacks here that all bring a little something to the table. Use them.
Maddie asked this yesterday on our special show that was covering the firing of Chris Jones, and I hopped on with him. He said, I think this is an interesting question. What was the biggest reason Chris Jones failed this time around? What do you think it was?
Well, I think the organization where it was, and Victor Cui coming in, and just the amount of hats that Jones
They heaped a lot on him.
And I'm not going to say had to wear. I think Jones, and knowing his character, like he likes the control and he likes having all that. Unfortunately, sometimes you don't know what's best for yourself as well. Jason Moss tossing around Gatorade tubs. We were having a great laugh years ago. This guy is like, did we have him winning a Grey Cup in Montreal? Right, like certain situations in this organization over the past couple of years could have been Jones, could have been Milanovic.
I do remember back before they brought Jones back, there was a lot of text messages being like, they got to bring back Chris Jones. He won a Grey Cup here. Like that was a thing. That
in terms of the timing, I mean, I just think the organization was such a bad spot that there was always going to be bad stuff flying around. And when you give all the control to one person who is known for being a little bit of prickly, doing things, and even look, some people would have taken his appointment second time around after he left for Saskatchewan as the slap in the face, the initial one.
Yeah, good point.
So this dates back a lot, and you talk to Rough Riders fans too. He got all of his coaches on new deals and then sprung for another job. This guy, he doesn't have any heart allegiance to any sort of logo or any sort of romantic relationship. He's in it to win football. He does the work. But he just doesn't have that warm side to the casual. It's great when it's going well. It's great when you're winning games. But when you fall in some hard times, he is not bringing that thing back from the darkness. In fact, he turns it up a notch and really does it like us against you and me against the fan base and everything. So I think it's just the too many hats and a guy that doesn't really know his limits. I think he's a great defensive mind. I think we all expected, I for sure did, a little bit more talent being brought in through his GM.
That was my answer.
Like
when Maddie asked me yesterday, I had 2 answers. One was, I think he relied too much on guys that he saw as athletes but had no experience in the CFL.
Absolutely.
Like, when you look at what, like, maybe a great defensive mind, wasn't this time around here. But as far as adding players, who did he bring in defensively? Purifoy. That's the only veteran he added,
and that
his
wasn't
entire time here.
A veteran added. I
brought in AC Leonard last year, and it worked out.
But another
he's
veteran
gone now.
added.
Like,
These aren't guys coming in through the pipeline that I was expecting.
No,
I was expecting him to identify guys and bring them into the league again, like he would.
And
do
I
in the
think his
past.
failure was that he kept trying to do that, and it didn't work. When he could have gone out and brought in some veteran defenders who had experience in the league. Like,
But
he
again, the
started this
stubbornness,
season
the
with
stubbornness.
Niles Morgan in the middle and 2 rookies on the outside. And I don't mind Nick Anderson and Leon, and O'Neill's been around it a bit, but he's out now because they brought in Moncrief. I mean, obviously that failed miserably because he went out and brought in 2 vets during the bye week in Oakman and Moncrief. I think almost like, I'm smarter than everybody else. These guys are athletes, they can play, but they're so inexperienced that it's led to the deal. Like, Kai Gray looks like he can play, but he's still only in, his full second season. Darius Bratton looks like he can play. He's only in his second season. Cordell Jackson's a rookie this year. Lewis basically had no experience before he threw him in at corner. And then they had the strong side and weak side linebackers this year were both rookies as well. And then on the defensive line, you move Serezna. You don't get Oakman until week 5. You've got Noah Curtis, who was a mid-round Canadian pick, and I like him, but he had no experience.
The timeline doesn't jive.
Like, it
you
just-
need to win
yeah.
today or yesterday, and you got all these guys that could hit. I mean, it's
You
still,
make the move with a quarterback that looks like a win now move, but on the defensive side of the ball, you got a few guys who need 3 more years in
Yeah,
the league before they can be a championship caliber defense.
It's all a little disjointed, and I think that all comes from, again, wearing the too many hats. And you're right. Chris Jones, if there's anything he excels in, is hubris.
Yeah.
And so, like he's the smartest guy. And so you can't tell him any different.
And also never landed a big name on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Always
Very
was just
important.
trying
I mean,
to sort of patch together the offensive line, and you just can't do that in this league. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that you can look at as far as why he's no longer here. In the end, it comes down to wins and losses, and he had a ton of losses and not very many wins. So, fresh slate for Jarious Jackson. This is what really intrigues me, is that we get this coaching change in the middle of a home and home.
A short week as
so
well.
That
like
too.
they got to be in Ottawa Friday.
Could have done this when they were 0-4.
However,
before the
though,
bye
you
week,
know
but
you know the opposition, so maybe it does.
Well, that's
make the
why I
preparation
want to
a little
see the
more easy.
difference
Yeah.
in strategy and system against Ottawa 5 days later when you've got Jarious.
At least you know what you're coming up against in a sense.
Would you say on Friday, Trey Ford takes at least one snap at quarterback?
Sure. Yeah. At least one. Why not?
It's an easy way for them for
Toss a little
Jarious
meat.
Jackson to get some of the fans.
Why not?
Oh, good, they're mixing in Trey. I already like this guy. Like
And
that
not just
type
for
of
the
thing,
fan
right?
angle too. I strongly believe that Jarious and certainly during his playing career, that was kind of how that's you don't just need one.
780-218-9999, changing 100. If you're watching over on YouTube, sub to the channel as well. We would very much appreciate that. Pillman is in and says, Jones was in over his head and lost his edge. Not going for 2 at the end of last game let us know that he was done.
Didn't lose the room, though, as Rick Lelacheur pointed out yesterday, which I found very... my theory was messaging wasn't getting through, but still keeping the locker room. That's kind of a weird balancing act there. But
Yeah, well, we'll get into that with Rick. He's going to join us around 7:45 today. Old Nielson to the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning as well. Says you have to put pressure on the quarterback in the CFL, and the Elks have not done this for a long, long time.
One of the signatures of him is his defense, and that was
They had 2 guys with
lacking.
double-digit sacks last year, in Leonard and Serezna.
Yeah.
And neither of them were back this year. I mean, it's really weird because if they would have just won 2 of the first 5 games, change isn't happening. And they were so close to winning.
3 straight by a
Like-
walk-off field goal.
like
I mean, you can't
it's
do that if you
wild.
planned it.
But, I mean, I just don't know if in this market a coaching change can spur a team on to really turn in their season around.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. What you need to do is win a lottery.
That helps too.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Best of luck to Jarious Jackson. Best of luck to Geroy Simon. Now, it would be interesting with Geroy as an interim general manager. How much can he actually significantly impact the roster mid-season, do you think?
Well, and this was all signed off with the, what shall we call them, not potential, but yet to be announced ownership
Pretty much.
group or individuals.
Pretty much,
so,
yeah.
I mean, if that was talked about, obviously I'm sure it kind of maybe went on with what they can or cannot do. It's so tough to make. Mid-season football, CFL too, I mean, lack of trades, I don't know really what you do to kind of move things around. Maybe you move pieces around, but I mean, again, I profess, I think this is a good roster. Not without its weak spots and deficiencies, but maybe different messaging and just a different, maybe a kick up the. If he didn't lose the room and players still love him, as we've all heard that players love Chris Jones, maybe it's the kick in the backside and the attention to detail that they need.
I want to get to this text, and then that'll lead to another question. We got Farhan coming up just after 7, probably around 7:05 today. Lelacheur is going to join us at 7:45 this morning, as well as we continue with coverage of the Edmonton Elks firing general manager and head coach Chris Jones. Jarious Jackson promoted to interim head coach, still will be the offensive coordinator, and Geroy Simon, who was assistant general manager, becomes the interim general manager at the end of the season. Whoever the new ownership group is, or whoever the new owner is, we'll have a choice for president. We'll have a choice for GM. We'll have a choice for head coach, a choice of coordinators, do whatever the hell he wants at that point. But this text in and says, guys, let's be honest. This team has been a train wreck since Len Rhodes said there's more to it than just winning.
Well,
winning isn't everything. Wasn't that the line?
That was the quote.
And then canned Ed Hervey. Very hard to watch. as a season seat holder. I was going to ask before that even came up, like, what was the moment that really dictated things going off the rails? And is that the one?
That's
like, if you could go back in the last 10 years and
it's the oldest one.
Eliminate one moment from the Elks organization, what would it be? For some of you, it would probably be the name change still. Glenn Rhodes saying winning is
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Basically allowing it's probably a moment that didn't look too good.
That was tough.
I mean, the whole Chris Presson era. Like, what was that guy doing?
The Chris Presson
here?
era was a disaster. I mean, it was
almost forgotten. Like,
I know, yeah.
Brock Sunderland. Remember,
but it
Sunderland,
comes about from the winning isn't everything type of man. I think that's where you kind of date it back. Anything prior to that, I really don't know how far back you could continue. That's probably.
I don't know how any executive on any sports team ever could use the phrase "winning isn't everything," well, especially when you only play 18 bloody games.
You can discuss it privately. You don't say it out loud to the fan base to hear, right? And to have it on record. Like there are other things in when you're running an organization. You got to make sure, like, you know, if the toilets aren't working, I don't care if you go undefeated. People are going to want working toilets. But there are levels to what.
At least in the old Kevin Lowe tiered fans rant, he said, "I think I know a thing or two about winning." At least he said what he said because he was overly passionate about it. When Rhodes dropped the "winning isn't everything," you're just like, what are you talking about?
It sounds bad. It's a bad sound. Yeah. I kind of get but no, you can't say it out loud. It's perception.
All right, the Feast on the Field is coming. Capital Care Foundation is hosting the Feast on the Field and their Charity Golf Classic with special guest MC Luke Gazdick. The pretty boy, right? Everybody loves Gazdick's eyes, right? One lucky foursome will get to spend the day golfing at Red Tail with Luke. Capital Care Foundation believes that everyone deserves to live with dignity. They do this by providing positive mental wellness and a home-like atmosphere, and they do it with funds from events like this, the Feast on the Field and the Charity Golf Classic. I know the Feast on the Field sells very well. They are looking for people to sign up for the Charity Golf Classic, though. Gazdick's an absolutely great dude. He's going to join us here at some point to talk about this event. It's going down August 14th and 15th. Feast on the Field is at Commonwealth Stadium, which is awesome. You're right there on the stadium having a meal. It's a pretty unique opportunity. So Feast on the Field is at Commonwealth, and the Charity Golf Classic, presented by Gilead, is at Red Tail Landing. For more information, check them out, www.capitalcarefoundation.net. Go there, find out more about the golf tournament, maybe find out more about an opportunity to golf with an absolute beauty in Luke Gazdick. All right, we've got Farhan Lalji coming up here in about 5 minutes. He was obviously busy on this story yesterday. Farhan will pop by. I'm curious I want to ask Farhan if the Elks' job is still a coveted position in this league. Like, for a long time, it was like, oh my God, an opportunity to coach the Edmonton Eskimos? This is great. Does that still exist? There's an opportunity here to come in and turn a franchise around, which I think is always sexy for a football man. But will you get top-end candidates applying for this job?
Sleeping giant. I think it's a good project, but I think the candidate needs to know that the proper people are in place.
Yeah.
They've
got to see, okay, who's the owner,
set the table
who's the president.
You got to have, this is a chance now to get this thing right, again, going where you want it to go, but it starts at the very top. That's what I'm kind of surprised, but obviously signed off by the potential or yet to be announced ownership group.
Yeah.
But very fascinating now, like, let the games begin. I like this stuff going around, building the executive, if you will.
Hammer the thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We're working our way towards 9,500 subs, which is a nice little sort of round number. We're going to get to a sports update for Green Plan here with Lieutenant Eric Farhan Lalji around 7:05 today. Rick Lelacheur will join us at 7:45 today as well. Your reaction to the Edmonton Elks firing Chris Jones. 780-218-9999. Nielson Show presented to you by Southfort Chevrolet.
After an 0-5 start, the Elks firing head coach and general manager Chris Jones yesterday. During his second tenure with the club, he went 8-33, while the team hasn't made the postseason since 2019. AGM Geroy Simon takes over as interim GM, while offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jarious Jackson will take on the role of interim head coach. Short week for the Elks as they kick off Week 7 on the road in Ottawa Friday night. Over to baseball, where the Prospects are back in action this evening. They host Saskatoon down at Sherwood Park Centennial Field 9. Riverhawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield. The West Coast League's All-Star Game goes tomorrow from Bellingham. Teoscar Hernandez capturing the home run derby last night, beating out Bobby Witt Jr. 14-13 in the final round. The All-Star Game goes tonight from Arlington. First pitch 6 o'clock. Jays are back home to host the Tigers on Friday. Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting service. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad guys. Like Brzezinski and Noodles, Gage and Gage. Maybe just but a Coolbet to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late. Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? He does the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramel, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. I'll run a game in person. Dusty, go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
All right, it is the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here as we kick off another day of Sports Talk right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you very much for being here. Text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. Nielsen Show presented to you by Southfort Chevrolet. Go see Daniel and his team at Southfort Chev. Tell them we sent you. They'll give you 15% off of accessories on your new ride. And they do have right now nice little deal. Up to $18,000 in savings on select in-stock 1500s. Some conditions do apply. But you can get 0% financing up to $18,000. It's an employee pricing event that'll go until the end of July. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. That'd be great. Sub to the channel as well. We are hoping to connect with Farhan Lalji coming up here. He's on a weird schedule because he was like traveling all over Europe.
Oh,
and then I think like just got back yesterday
for the Euros, probably. Hey, I assume.
Nope,
yeah,
he was just on family vacation time. I think. Oh, wow, which looked like a real nice trip. You know it's an important trip when it takes Farhan away from Canada during the CFL season.
Well, that's got to be something.
That's a pretty big one. So we're going to get into everything that we saw go down yesterday with Farhan. Rick Lelacheur is going to join us, interim president, putting in place yesterday an interim head coach and an interim general manager. Everything's on an interim basis right now for the Edmonton Elks. New ownership is on the way. Did sign off on the firing of Chris Jones, as they'll have to pay him out for the next 12 months. Janice V. down in Calgary, or actually a Stamps fan in YEG, says dismissing Jones and Ford, taking a couple of snaps, will help sell some tickets. It will help somewhat stabilize the team until new ownership.
I like how she has that, like a very nice, you got your rival checking in there. She's got the Stamp Avi chiming in, having her say on the CFL, and right after that, Stamp Stink. Like, I love how that's still alive. That puts a tear to my, for both people. Smith TM14 and Janice V as well. Love it.
The rivalry is still there.
I love it.
The rivalry is still there.
The heart beats, baby.
I think you have to like that one. This one is in from Gold Medal Mark. Says, love the show. In terms of the Elks and my entertainment dollar, it's a complicated equation, but one very small thing gets to me. Every so often, I still hear an old fan say, change the name back. I know this is not on the team, but part of the equation when I decide to spend my limited and dwindling entertainment dollar. Of course, toxic fans are part of every equation, but it's still draining to hear. That's in from Gold Medal Mark. So it's draining on him to hear other people be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I changed the name back."
I hear you, man.
It's draining on you. You should see our inbox.
Well, I often tell my response usually, and I replied to Gold Medal Mark, if there was no ever team here, and this was plopped down as an expansion, the logo, the look, the color, the everything else, I would argue it's a hit. I think anywhere else. So time will heal all, but yeah, it was the sponsors. It's sponsors. Money talks, and the brand listens. But yeah, I think again, in terms of we were talking about timelines and everything, you pepper in a little winning during the brand change. Probably hasn't gotten to this point. It's been a perfect storm.
New nasty song, guys. Chris Jones, Start the Fire. Oh, you mean left a tire fire. Chris Jones left a well,
there have been some Poho comparisons by a few people texting in this morning.
I mean, 0-5 is a tire fire, but I don't think the roster's a tire fire. I mean, they've played.
Lelacheur said it's a
well
better
against some
team.
decent teams.
They've improved the team. Mark, you can't argue
They
that.
are a better team.
And now, again, you mentioned Ceresno, Leonard. I mean, there are things we can really chew it up, but yeah, this isn't a... Curious to get Farhan's thoughts, too, on how this much mirrors the 2011 BC Lions, if at all, with that 0-5 start. Because I remember that, and they went on to be voted the team of the year in Canada.
Was that Lule?
Including hockey. Yeah, Lule. Whole bit.
The team of the year in Canada, including hockey.
You were 0-5, 1-6. You stormed back to win the divisional.
They were 1-6. Yeah, they were 0-5.
It was a hell of a story. And again, not a team with all these players that are the foregone of every other roster. This was a pretty good. And I kind of see that with the Elks here. Like there's talent here. How do you get it out?
It's not even getting it out. It's just finishing.
Well, finishing.
Like
yeah.
they just have to finish ball games. That's it. Like they're right there. Like going into their fifth game, their average margin in a loss was by far the lowest in the league. It was like 4.3. It came down because they lost by 3 again. So that's a tough spot to find yourself in. This one is in. It says, "Nah, guys, the name is just bad, fam. People don't want to cheer. Go Elks, go."
Yeah, nobody wanted to cheer Go Oilers go either. Like years back.
I mean,
Remember,
you can
fire
cheer
them all.
Go Elks, go.
Fire them all. Hashtag.
I mean, you either support your football team in your city or you don't.
You don't have to.
That's
but
it. Like,
you can't.
I mean, saw the one guy earlier. It was just like, well, I watch CFL, and it's everybody would leave to go to the NFL. Well, why do people go to Riverhawks games? None of those guys are ever. I mean, are any of those guys ever going to make it to the pros? Like, you go because it's an entertaining time. You want to support your local club. And if the local club has rubbed you the wrong way a few times, I understand the grudge. But to say that you never go back just seems a little bit like
college
overkill.
football is populated by players that always leave.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a really good
wildly
point.
popular, and they're bringing back the video game, which is a great thing in my
That's
head.
a great move as well. I texted Farhan. I don't know where he is. I texted him. You emailed him the right email, right? Was that a Bell Media email? Yeah.
Bones asked, did the Lalji family go on the Pig and the Poke game show and win a European vacation? Huh?
Oh, wouldn't that be that?
Give me the tape of
Man,
that.
that's a pretty deep
I love
reference,
it.
isn't it? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Scouts in it says a Riverhawk got drafted by the Cubs yesterday.
Great. Now we can't watch him at Remax.
When I used to work for the Lethbridge Bulls, we had a few players get drafted. I mean,
it's great.
Best of luck, but like, so they're leaving. Oh no, he's going to leave.
And where's he going? To
can't
the NFL?
support this team anymore because he might leave.
Going where though? To the NFL, which we all love and worship. So you're seeing guys playing in the NFL today here. Is that not a selling point that you want?
That whole conversation is a lame response. Who from the Elks last year went to play in the NFL?
Uh-oh. Well, they're not that good then.
Who from the Elks last year left this team to go play in the NFL? Nobody. All right, so I mean, that's why would you watch them when everybody runs? Very few guys leave this league to go to the very few guys leave this league to go to the NFL. And you ask NFL guys, the bottom third of the NFL and the top third of the CFL, there's really not much of a difference in those guys. Like you flip flop them 100%. Like you don't think Geno Lewis could play in the National Football League? Geno Lewis could play in the National Football League. Like, it's just a matter of getting an opportunity here, going to this school here correctly, taking advantage of the one opportunity you get in a preseason where you stand out. So I don't know. I love both leagues. I just don't know why people can't love both leagues. Drives me nuts.
Understand it. Well, it goes back to this Canadiana thing that I firmly believe in.
So you think it comes from?
It's a culture thing. We're not the CFL in its heyday was successful because Canada too had its own bit of it. I mean, we drank Nielson and we wore a toque and we said, hey, all that stuff like
and the balls
the
were
Juno
bigger and
Awards
stuff,
for crying out loud. The Geminis. I mean, we celebrated Canadian art, film, music, the whole bit. I think it's a bit of a different world today. Not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, that's you live next to the big elephant down south there, but. Yeah, I mean, we've all been, and again, we've been saying this for years too, with no CFL films, which the NFL films had a great propaganda wing and arm for 30, 40 years to ingrain, the Mud Bowl, the Fog Bowl, the this bowl, the that bowl, into the minds of young people and inundate them with the NFL culture from birth up until their adulthood. And no video game, no NFL film, no CFL films, and no CFL video game. You're really not going into any pop culture minds
CFL
that the NFL
lacking.
has done. How is the NFL balloon to where it's at now? Madden has been a huge thing for the NFL, and all of these things, just the culture of it all. The CFL, and look, I love the CFL, but I'll be a big critic too. And a lot of people, they just sit back. They sit back. They're not proactive. They're reactive, which is.
I got sucked into I became a Lions fan because of Tecmo Super Bowl and Barry Sanders. But I didn't really get into the NFL until I was like 23, 24 years old, because I started betting on it. And I started playing
betting
fantasy.
Too. That's another one.
That's it.
Chalk
Started
that up.
betting
Fantasy,
on it.
Yeah.
Started doing
fantasy too. Yeah.
That's how I got into the National Football League. I mean, it was. I didn't grow up watching football every Sunday. Like that wasn't a thing for me when I was growing up. But I became, 23, 24, and I was just like, oh, I can bet on this stuff. Oh, that's kind of fun. Oh, I can play fantasy. I can play multiple fantasy leagues.
Yeah, now you're watching teams and players you never would have before being a Lion or whatever it is. Spouses, people that don't even know what football, now they know. Oh, you got to draft a team. Now they know these players and everything. It just gets into that casual landscape so much where the CFL is still, it's struggling with that nicheness.
I drafted Rico Dowdle before the show today in the Scott Fishbowl fantasy draft.
My first ever fantasy player I drafted was Fred Smoot.
Fred Smoot.
For Yahoo Fantasy. Can't even remember the year. Years ago. But I mean, that it just goes to show that's the example here. I still remember that. The CFL league that we're doing with Maddie, I mean, great memories, great entertainment, and again, it helps you learn more about the league as a whole. So fantasy, video games, CFL films, 3 ideas there. Take them if you want.
Yeah.
I'm not charging anything for them. Randy.
And both leagues are highly entertaining. They just are. I mean, it's good football. Like the Canadian Football League is good football. For like, I'm in a couple of fantasy leagues with guys who are just like really NFL hardos. And I'm just good. Like, man, just watch the CFL. They're like, oh, there's too many punts. There's barely any more punting in the CFL than the NFL. Like it's a bunch of. It's a bunch of weird fabricated things.
See, they say punt, we're like, oh, that's a punt. It's a fair catch.
Yeah.
A punt or a kickoff in NFL terms is boring because nothing happens.
Well, yeah, at least in our league, it actually happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. Like
all these things need to be advertised a little more, though, because it's not a punt. Oh, he's just going to catch it. They'll blow the whistle.
The return game does not exist in the National Football League anymore.
No.
It just doesn't.
And they're looking to remedy that and probably borrow from a few CFL
what I saw was very interesting yesterday. I think McAfee had it. They were talking about it. The NFL is expanding. They're looking at going to 18-game regular season with 2 bye weeks. And people are like,
what a great idea.
Well, this is amazing. Like, why would they not have done this? You realize the CFL's been rolling with this? Like, I
don't go to games because the season's too long. that type of,
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, 18 games has been like,
idea.
oh, that's too drawn out. So like, oh my God, it's amazing. So you just need to give it a chance, man. Like, it's not as entertaining. What are you talking about? Vernon Adams is on pace to throw for over 6,000 yards, and 3 other quarterbacks are on pace to throw for over 5,000 yards. Like,
but it's not that. Again, it's just the perception of it. If I admit to my buddies that I may have caught a CFL game over the weekend,
it's okay.
I might have to turn in my man card or whatever one of those analogies are.
What do I have to do to make it cool? I mean, come on. I do think the fantasy thing has to. I mean,
video game, fantasy, or films. One of the 3. I'll be happy with one of the 3.
I would start with fantasy. Because then you can hook the 20. Oh, I don't play CFL because you can't do fantasy. Actually, you know what? You can do fantasy. Oh, like because some of you guys don't even know you can do DFS already. Like the daily fantasy stuff. Oh yeah, you can do that. It's a real league. You can do this stuff. But I would like the season-long fantasy. That's a thing that I think we have to go. I'm wondering if Farhan got his times mixed up and he's thinking it's 7:05
Still
Pacific
on Euro time, eh?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. He's
He's,
obviously not joining us at 7:05. So
Well.
I fired him a text, but he hasn't got back to me yet. And if he joins us at 8:05, it's going to be pretty jam-packed.
Well, he'll have to play trivia.
We got to play kind of easy trivia.
Hope he was watching the home run
He's
derby
going to have to
last
do
night.
3 questions too many as well. All right, let's see here. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Ken is in and says, you guys are too nice, so I'm just going to say it. Texters whining about the CFL and the EE just aren't Canadian. Go back to America, you stupid CFL haters.
Well, it's-
Whoa. Like I said, you can like both leagues.
Yeah.
I passionately love both leagues.
I do too.
I do.
And I love college football, and I love Prairie Junior football, and I love youth sports, CIS, CIAU, whatever they're calling it these days. More football, baby. Why not?
The loser's in it says, I love the game of football, and that's why I love the CFL and the Elks. Casino leader Jay says, CFL would be cool if commentators throw in some 50 Cent lyrics. I got 9 of them in. In one game, and I made 2 pimple references
The Pimpleton
to
was-
Pimpleton
yeah.
last game. It's both exploding and popped.
What will he do for his next act?
I mean, what more do you need?
Well, what do we got for you this week? What's
I'm
the
trying to
what's the old
suck you in.
schedule here? Elks kickoff week 7, a short week, obviously. But where are you at? You're in Regina for probably Friday.
I'm in Regina
Riders-
for Bombers Riders Friday night.
Oh, you want to see a fireworks show? That's gonna be something.
I don't want to be like conceited guy, but I'm promising you, Bombers Riders Friday night will be the most entertaining sports broadcast that you can watch on TV. It just is.
A good night for a draw in Regina on a Friday, not a Thursday, not a Sunday. Winnipeg's coming on. It's a natural rivalry. Riders suffered their first loss of the campaign. They'll look to get back in. That's a beauty one on Friday for you.
Oh,
Love
huge!
It.
That's a huge game.
Can't wait.
Huge game. And then I get the high-flying BC Lions on Sunday against the Calgary Stampeders, who are 2-0 at home. It's going to be outstanding. Watch the BC Lions and tell me that CFL isn't an entertaining league. Like it's insane what Vernon Adams is doing.
But with
this
no
year.
preconceived notions. Just you got to scrub your brain a bit and just observe it.
do me a favor.
Do it in a dark room without your friends if it's too embarrassing.
And many of you listening and watching right now probably already dabble in the CFL. But if you're one of those guys listening who's like, I got no time for it, watch Bombers Riders on Friday night. Especially if Trevor Harris is playing. Because, that would be Trevor Harris is banged up right now. But quarterbacks get hurt. It happens in both leagues. It'll be a good football game.
Yeah.
That'll be a good football game.
And again, I'm very anxious to see what this Elks team provides. Again, on a short week, I get it, the change is made, but also a team that they just lost to on Sunday. So they'll have tape. It's not like they're playing somebody they haven't seen so far this season. It'll be interesting to see the wrinkles that Jarious and co implement.
Big Slam Nasty is in and says, guys, I'm a huge NFL guy, but I would take a big CFL game over Cardinals Panthers in primetime. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like CFL, the NFL has great games and the NFL has a bunch of duds.
But why
the
are you
CFL
watching?
has great games and the CFL has duds.
Why are you watching Cardinals Panthers on a Sunday?
Well, I'm not.
No, but
I mean,
why?
I'm not
But
that much
why?
of a
What's
DJ.
the one reason you might be? Because
Betting or
somebody,
fantasy? I mean,
there you go.
yeah.
Well, kind of 1 and 2, but
Yeah,
fantasy.
I think.
yeah.
I would
That's
think-
why you watch those games.
I would think two there. Tommy Gazzola, where's the wrench? I mean, the wrench. Well, he's not there. Tommy Gazzola's there, but there's no wrench.
He's in the 6 o'clock hour.
Tommy's wrenchless right now. It says there's a new football game coming called Maximum Football that was created by a Canadian guy a few years ago. It was bought by a bigger company, and they're overhauling it. Full customization. Tommy, is that a real thing? I remember hearing about Maximum Football.
Yeah. Didn't Doug Flutie make one?
Doug
I'll believe it
Flutie
when I'm
endorsed
holding it in my
Maximum
when I'm
Football.
holding it in my hand or it's in my console. Then I'll get going with it.
Guys, the CFL needs to do a behind-the-scenes show. They already have a deal with TSN, who's owned by Bell, which says Crave. Give us a last chance use CFL style on Crave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. But some of these teams already on their own social content do a bunch of great behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Like they really do.
But I think, and now you have a sense that one team's doing it, like BC's hitting it out of the park, or a few other teams do it a different way outside consultant services dealing with the team. But if you had an umbrella from the league to kind of get all the teams and kind of coordinate it, right? I mean, everybody doing their own thing. It kind of reminds me of the Elks. You're out there, and everybody's not knowing where to be. I think the league needs to champion that. Say, okay, huddle up all the teams. How are we doing the socials? How are we presenting presenting our product to everybody instead of just everybody Wild Westing it and doing themselves, which is fine. But the league needs to take like an umbrella type of, and that's why the films part comes in for me. You need to have some sort of give me that CFL badge on whatever promotional stuff you're doing. But let us know that it's controlled and that there's a plan here, not just people doing their own things for selfish sake. And the fantasy is huge. I don't mind that weekly one either, but if you can get into a league long, I mean, keeper, whatever you want, but drafting the whole bit, that changes the game.
Trev, Farhan just woke up. He said he thought it was going to be PM. I'm going to have to talk with him when I see him on the weekend. Anyway, he's just going to do phone because he just woke up. So I'm texting you. I'm texting you his number.
Come on, Farhan.
We're gonna get him on.
Let's see that bet here.
Rick Lelacheur is going to join us around 7:45. Farhan Lalji is going to hop on the phone with us here right away as well. 780-218-9999. Duck Dad says, "Hey guys, did I miss the Roby Jarventi talk? There was a little bit of it in the 6 o'clock hour. Not going to play for the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, who knows if there's some injuries this year? Maybe he gets called up along the way and you get a little sniff. Played 7 games last year in the." In the NHL with the Ottawa Senators, had 1 assist. Not a groundbreaking deal by any stretch of the imagination. We would have spent more time on it today if we didn't have all this of the Elks news, obviously. But YouTube Trev's going to call Farhan right now. He's going to hop on with us. And the Lelacheur is going to join us at 7:45 today as well. If you want to chime in, 780-218-9999. The Edmonton Elks granted you their wish. They fired Chris Jones yesterday. Are you buying tickets today to come to the game on July 28th? What's the answer? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Farhan Lalji has been all over the world recently, and he does join us this morning on the show. Farhan, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. I'm in Vancouver, but clearly my time zones are off. You know, I know you have a morning show, and when you sent me a text last night, I thought, well, he means 7:05 p.m., right? Because he knows I don't do free radio before 8 a.m. Pacific time, doesn't he? Like, come on.
Well, it's funny because Eric and I were talking about this morning. We're like, man, Farhan usually wouldn't hop on this early. This is really weird.
It's miffed.
Can't believe we're going to get him this early. What's going on here?
Anyway. You got me. You got me.
Your body, how long were you overseas for, Farhan? Like, how long? How many weeks were you?
22 days.
Holy smokes.
So, yeah, we were kind of all over the place. It was good. A very rare epic family vacation. So it was fun. You know, you go over there and you think the kids will appreciate the history, and they're like, yeah, whatever, Dad, I want a gelato. So
let me take a selfie in front of the Coliseum.
Yeah, well, in fairness, I was doing more selfies than my kids, but
well, you understand where you were, the opportunity you had. That's
absolutely.
That's a funny one. Well, you got back just in time, as after an 0-5 start, Chris Jones does get fired yesterday. We were talking about it yesterday morning, like in perfect circumstances. We thought, that might happen yesterday, but because of the ownership thing, we thought maybe they'd wait on it a little bit. Obviously, I think you tweeted about it yesterday that the incoming ownership group did sign off on this, so maybe we shouldn't be surprised that it happened, but take us through that process.
Yeah, I was kind of the same mind you were, that I thought it might take some time and that he might be able to survive for a few different reasons, whether it be, how the ops cap would be impacted because of where he's at contractually and the fact that the new ownership groups that were remaining would still want some input in the process and, all of it. And just truthfully, I just felt there was a lack of qualified people in the building to potentially take over. I mean, you look at, a lot of teams, they might have, whatever, let's say for the sake of argument, Winnipeg wanted to fire Mike O'Shea, which they obviously wouldn't, but, they got Richie Hall in the building. And, in BC, they got Mike Benavides in the building. And, you've got that in places, and they just kind of don't have that there. So I thought there were a number of reasons that would have allowed Chris Jones to ride it out until the end of the year, but ultimately, they don't want to give up on this season. That was really made abundantly clear to me when I spoke to them. That they just think because they're close that they owe it to their fans, they owe it to the people in the building, they owe it to a potential new owner to not give up on this season. So they just felt that they had to make a decision. They had to make a hard decision at a really difficult time, and and ultimately, I think they did the right thing here, right? Like the way this team has lost the games, this is what gets coaches fired, right? Because when you lose games this close, you can say we're improved, but in every one of those games, there was a coaching decision that helped lead to the eventual outcome. So they had to do this.
What do you think Chris Jones failed in, or what was his demise this time around? Would he have too much on his plate? Did he not bring in enough experience on the defensive side of the ball? Like, what do you think led to the fact that they're sitting here again at 0-5?
Well, I think for me, people want to point the finger at McLeod in a lot of cases and call for Trey Ford, but I think the bigger problems are on the other two phases of the football, right? Because defensively, you watch this team and the way they give up plays at the most critical of times, there's just so much turnover, and it leads to such a lack of stability and continuity. Like I go back 3-4 years, and you look at the Lions, right? To give you an example, and they had all these young players that came in as rookies, like Ben Halatic and Josh Banks and Manny Rugamba, and all of these guys, and then they went through some growing pains, and then guess what? They were pretty good on the other side of it. And that's just not happened in Edmonton because they just keep turning the roster over, especially on the defensive side, literally daily, right? So they just never, they always stay young. They never get to a point where they're experienced and they can take advantage of the growing pains they went through. There's just continuous growing pains, right? So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the DBs are in their second year, but, they just haven't improved enough, and there's no pass rush whatsoever. So that you can't buy those guys any kind of time, right? So defensively, it's just not there, right? Like if they defend in the back end with 7 or 8, they can't rush the passer with 4, and then if they bring too many guys, they can't cover on the back end. So they just find themselves kind of caught in that wasteland. And then if you look at their biggest offseason additions, who were they? Boris Beatty and Javon Leake. Well, Beatty's not getting it done. He's not as good as he was in his last stop. And John Leake's fumbling the football, right? And not giving you enough in the return game. So it's like, where they've made improvements and where they've invested is kind of not where people generally do it. But even that hasn't proven to really help this team. So people want to blame the offense, but I think it's the other two sides that have kind of let them down more in critical moments because you make a coaching mistake by leaving 8 seconds left when you score the touchdown. That shouldn't have happened. And then what happens after that? Your defense, your special teams lets you down on the kick, and your defense can't make a single play, not one, to hold them out of field goal range, right? And to me, that's been the bigger indictment.
Farhan, I just wanted your thoughts on it. Rick Lelacheur commented yesterday that Chris Jones, and usually a player that's pretty popular with his players, didn't lose the room, albeit the messaging maybe wasn't quite clearly there. And watching this team, I think we all know it's the penalties, it's the moments, it's not being able to lock things down. What do you see from Jarious Jackson coming in? And I think Lelacheur, I think he put a good, bright, this whole situation, he said, we're almost on the first third of the season, and you're a BC guy out there, and I go back to that 2011 Lions team, 0-5, 1-6, going off winning the Grey Cup. Different time, different scenario, different everything. But Jarious Jackson was a part of that team. So how do you think the messaging will change, if at all? Because it is 5 games in here, and it's sometimes difficult to change that messaging. But what do you expect now moving forward with Jarious Jackson taking the reins, albeit in an interim role? And how do you see that messaging kind of changing from his point of view and knowing Jarious as you do?
Yeah, I think the one thing Jarious will try to do is he'll try to bring some calm and stability to the situation, right? Because there was just so much, hair on fire, roster turnover, and reactive coaching. So I think that's part of it. The second part of it is I think he's going to, both he and Geroy feel like they need to back off these players a bit, because one of Chris Jones' philosophies is to just grind these guys in practice. And he's kind of backed off a little bit in training camp, but there still is a little bit more that is loaded on the players physically during the week than you'll see around the CFL. And I think that they feel that these players are playing a little bit tired, and that shows itself late in games. So I think you'll see a little bit more of a pro football approach to practice, right, where things are a little more mental than physical, right? Just in terms of grinding all the time. And like I said, I just think they'll try to bring a bit of calm to the situation. Jarious hasn't done this before, but he's a pretty bright guy. Mm-hmm. If you look at his story, this guy's been through a lot in the game of football, right? And I remember in that 2011 team, Jarious was a backup quarterback, but the team named him captain, right? And that gives you the respect. It shows you he does have the ability to garner respect from players. And I texted with Wally Bono about this last night, and he's like, the one thing is that He's never afraid of a challenge, and he's a winner, and people view him as a winner, and that will help them believe in him, right? So I think, Jarious has a shot at this, right? He's not one of those guys that people ever talk about as a potential head coaching candidate. Quite frankly, I don't know that he's ever even put his name out there in that capacity, right? But I do think he's got a chance to make this work on a short-term basis and get the best out of these guys. And talking to Geroy last night, he just doesn't want to overreact, right? And it would be easy for him to come in and say, hey, I got a 13-week audition to be the new GM of this team, and I'm going to do bold things so people know how smart I am. And I think the smartest thing he's going to do is not do that. So I think stability is key at this time.
Farhan, before we let you go, with these positions in Edmonton, considering the way that things have gone for a while here, would they still be coveted jobs in this league? And are there already a couple of names that come to top of mind that they should go after as head coach and GM if they do decide to make the official change at the end of the year?
No, I'll say that right now. Like, there's not kind of the obvious ones. I mean, there are young up-and-comers that are kind of ready for this, right? Mark Killam was close the last time. I talked about, Ted Govaya was the finalist. It was Jones, Govaya, and Rick Maiden that were the three finalists. Rick Maiden pulled his name out, so it was just the two of them left and went through the interview process. So, Ted's a guy I certainly think is ready. There's some names in Calgary right now, like Mark Killam and a name like Brent Monson as well. And then you look at BC. Rick Campbell just passed Mike Benavides for the all-time Lions. On the all-time Lions win list. Well, Benavides is a guy that, for whatever reason, just never got a second opportunity. And I'm not sure I quite understand why. And I know in Edmonton, when he left, people weren't happy with him as a defensive coordinator. So there are names out there that are ready to kind of be the next guy. Jordan McSimic, I'm not sure that he's necessarily personality-wise a head coach, but he's just an incredible offensive coordinator. And he's an Edmonton guy, right? And I think that always plays well in that market. So there's some guys that are there, but I think. And I'm not here stumping for anybody, and I hope that Geroy and Jarious do well and maybe can earn themselves the opportunity to keep the job. But I think one of the other reasons they did this now is because it allows them a longer runway. Because usually what happens with these jobs is things are pretty restrictive with when you can talk to people, in both leagues, the CFL and the NFL. But then all of a sudden there's a real scramble at the end to turn these positions over. Whereas this now gives the new ownership group and potentially Lelacheur, if he stays in to kind of help until the end of the year, time to really cast a wide net, really look at people and have a long evaluation period as opposed to a scramble and to get this right. And here's one thing, and again, not lobbying for anybody, because if you ask me what my hope is that Geroy and Jarious hit it out of the park and can do this. But my gut has always told me at some point Ed Hervey's going to make his way back to Edmonton. That's his home. He's got a place there. I think the fan base really appreciates him. I think he got a raw deal the last time when he left. And he's also got a job as the GM in Hamilton, and that's a tire fire right now. Like a name for me that I've always just kind of tied to that market. But like I said, my hope is that Geroy and Jarious can use these 13 weeks and hit it out of the park and have a long run of success there. But ask for some other names. There's a few to consider for sure.
Farhan, I know you don't do early mornings, man, so we appreciate you taking the call today. And you're in Calgary this weekend, aren't you?
I am. Are you there?
I'm there. Yeah. I'll see you.
Okay,
I'll
so
see
what
you.
that means is when we meet up the night before, you're buying.
You know what? Fair enough. That's a deal. I'll do that. You know what? That's fair. That's a reasonable
that's the
request.
Cobwebs off your wallet. Now that you're an executive that basically owns his own network, you can.
Let's not get too carried away. But you have a beef dip and fries, and I'll see you on Saturday. All right.
See you, buddy.
There you go. That's Farhan Lalji with CFL and TSN, CFL Insider. It was interesting that he did bring up Hervey's name at the end of it. Like,
hey, you want
to? I saw Hervey in Calgary week 1, and it's always good bumping into him.
Smash the glass. Psh, by God, that's what Hervey's.
It does seem like
if you're going to get a
kind
pop,
of meant to be eventually,
well,
right?
Yeah, in terms of storylines and narratives, boy, you talk about getting the casual fan or somebody who the heat or the weather or the transportation or the name. Hervey would go a long way.
He just got elevated in Hamilton. So.
Sure, but as Farhan said too, that there's a bit of a fire starting there, albeit not for necessarily the roster construction. It's what's taking place on the field and them not being able to win games, but.
All right, 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube today, let's hammer that thumbs up. I think we take a legitimate run at 200 here before 8 o'clock. So hammer the thumbs up if you're watching over on YouTube, and sub to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, just fire the link to EST to all your buddies so they can get in on the fun here as well. Lelacheur is going to join us in about 8-9 minutes. We got a sports update right now for our great staff at Park Mazda. Confessions on the other side for Spectrum Rental when we return. Let's get to that sports update with LT.
Chris Jones out as general manager and head coach of the Elks yesterday during his second tenure with the club. He went 8-33 while the team hasn't made the playoffs since 2019. AGM Geroy Simon taking over as interim GM, while offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jarious Jackson was named interim head coach. The Elks will kick off Week 7 on the road in Ottawa Friday night. Over to baseball, where Teoscar Hernandez captured the home run derby, beating out Bobby Witt Jr. 14-13 in the final round. All-Star game tonight from Arlington. First pitch 6 o'clock. Jays are back home to host the Tigers on Friday. Prospects back in action tonight. They'll host the Saskatoon Berries down at Sherwood Park's Centennial Field 9. Riverhawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield as the West Coast League All-Star game goes tomorrow down in Bellingham. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who already wants to take his name out of the running in terms of potential head coach Phillies for the Elks.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you can afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, like, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
I can remember back being an 11-year-old kid about 75 pounds on the basketball court against a neighborhood bully, kicking his behind left, right, and center. And when it was all said and done, he was a little bit upset, so he punched me in the mouth. My uncles were over on the side observing, talking amongst themselves adult things. When he punched me in the mouth, I decided I'm running to my uncle. You know what he did? He pushed me back to him. I went back, he punched me in my mouth again. I ran to my uncle, looking for protection. Needed Big Bro to protect me. He pushed me back again. And you know what I did? I faced him in the eye. And I said, my uncle's not going to help me. So I punched him in the face. And then I looked him in the eye and I said, then what? Now what? Now what? Now what are you gonna do? You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Anyone I ever met. I punched him in the face. Do not submit your guys. What about bringing back Cavis messages?
Still remember watching that too in the old boys' house living room. I think it was like 30 above. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, is this the heat? Like, is this actually happening? Or am I in some sort of
You're having one of those heat
30-degree fever dream here?
A fever dream, yeah.
No, he goes up and down that, yeah.
That's
man, that was a time.
That's funny. All right, let's get into Weekly Confessions, brought to you by Spectrum Rental, where they are so rattled today by the Chris Jones news yesterday that they forgot to send in a liner.
It's a great confession.
Anything you need to rent, get it done. Spectrum Rental. You think they would have the tool? I don't even know what the tool is. I guess it might just be a shovel. If I was going to dig a hole to place a basketball hoop down into the ground.
Sure
you think there's a tool I can get that can just take out a huge lump in one go?
Probably more of a fun way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also want it to be a good hole so I can pour the concrete down into it. Yeah. So I want something of significance so you can go down and just pull
I think it's called an auger.
But an auger takes out a huge chunk of land?
Yeah.
Are you talking about digging down or lifting up?
Digging down.
Like I want to kind of cut around it and just pull out one huge chunk of land. Like
you could use like those machines. They take out the trees. It's like a big root. It's like a big claw.
Yeah. That's what I need. A root claw.
Yeah, a root claw.
Just
that might work. That might work.
I wonder if the team at Spectrum Rental rents root claws.
That's definitely not what it's called. But
it might be what it's called. We don't know. We don't technically know what it's called. But does anybody know if there's a root claw out there? I could also use it to get rid of the 4 bushes that I need to get rid of to place the basketball hoop in.
Skid steer.
Yeah, but a skid steer doesn't come with a root claw.
It doesn't have to. You can take the shovel off. Can't you put a different bolt in there that drills down?
Maybe.
And then you can just spin around your block, and as long as you're in there driving around, people are like, oh, he's doing something.
Oh,
like,
look at this guy.
I don't see you completing this project.
I guess I
just see you
technically
renting all
don't know what an auger is, but
you'll look good doing
Cosmic Rhubarb says a post-hole auger. Yeah, something like that, but like bigger, like a thick, because I want to have enough room to put the concrete base in. Yeah, something like that. But and then it spins the dirt up out of the hole. That's cool.
LeDuc
So
Aaron
is that
says,
an auger?
Yeah.
Cool.
An auger.
I'd like to try one of those.
Go up to 36 inches.
You can get those at Spectrum Rental. I know that. I also want to know if they'll come do it for me. I'm gonna injure one of my kids with an auger. Like it's just
a tree spade.
That's how it works. The Muzz is laying inside it, going on a spin like it's a ride. Like.
Owen Jan says a clamshell shovel.
I
think you do this the
in my
old-fashioned
mind.
way,
That's what I imagine.
Yeah.
But I want to just do it all in one big swoop. I don't want to like dig all the way down.
Get a skid steer with an auger. There you go. There you can see. Yeah, you can take the shovel off and just screw on the old auger. Easy, right? It's like Lego.
Totally easy.
Yeah.
Totally something I can handle. I walk into Spectrum Rental and just be like, "Here's what I'm looking to do," and I guess you can do this, and they'll find the tool for you. All right, what's your confession? We got Lelacheur coming up here in just a couple minutes, but what's your
I too, like Spectrum Rental, didn't see this coming yesterday. It was such a bizarre. If it was going to happen, and I think we were kind of sitting around here doing the show yesterday through the morning. Okay, well, all quiet on the Western Front, and certainly during the hangout, maybe something going on, but no. And then the day goes on, and thank God Zach was still here eating a sandwich or whatever he was doing in the afternoon.
He was having that Italian center
as
sausage.
you do on a Monday afternoon around 3:34 or whatever that was dropped, and you got to give it up to Iwanic too, who came back in but was on Saskatchewan radio confidently saying that nothing was going to happen. Classic Iwanic move there.
As it happened.
I just love it for him because it's just he immediately hangs up the phone and boom, it happens. So maybe Lelacheur was waiting for
Take
Iwanic
that, Jamie Nye. That's
pretty funny.
That's a good one.
No, I confess. I mean, I think we all saw it coming, just didn't see it coming yesterday when it did. At the minute it happened.
My confession would be I was legit sitting up on the edge of my seat last night. I can't remember last time for a TV show I was on the edge of my seat, but I watched episode 4, season 2 of House of the Dragon, and there was an epic battle. And have to tell you, the dragon fight was unreal. The one guy, I don't know all their names because they're all Aegons or Rhaegons or Dragons or whatever. But the one guy's got this dragon who's just an absolute killer. It's like the LeBron James of dragons, the greatest of all time. I'm sitting there on the edge of my... I was kind of laying next to my wife watching the show. She was sitting up and kind of laying there. And then this dragon battle began, and I sat up, and I was like, oh my God, this is insane. It was good. The show itself, but that dragon battle was something else.
To get you on the edge of your seat these days, hey?
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, Atif's got a confession in the Paris Jewelers inbox.
Give it to me.
You want to get to that?
Is it a good one or no?
Boys, I have a confession. I'm thinking of putting a rickshaw on the back of my wheelchair and charging $50 a ride to make some extra money. Your thoughts? I'll bring the rigshaw. He calls it a rigshaw with a G, hard G, to the Elks tailgate. Atif. Atif, you want to spin me around the tailgate once or twice? I'll pay you whatever you want.
I do love the idea of Atif in his wheelchair giving people rickshaw rides around the tailgate for money.
Take me there, yeah.
I think if you hit that tailgate right, like about 50 minutes before the game, he's going to make $1,000.
He'll probably give you a bit of a deal.
Yeah.
At that point, eh?
Oh, yeah. It's
talk him down to 25.
Atif, that's a good one, buddy. I like that one. Hula Boy Steve says, guys, my confession is my dog ate a baby bird last night, and I didn't tell my wife about it. Holy, that's gross. That's gross. I mean, but look. Nature's gonna nature.
Hell of a confession.
That's just how it works. All right. We had Farhan Lalji on around 7:20 talking about the decision yesterday. Interim president of the Edmonton Elks, Rick Lelacheur, joins us right now on the show. And you know what? I mean, I know we've got lots to talk about with Chris Jones and stuff. But, Rick, I do have to say, we've been talking about it all day yesterday as well. The tailgate at Elks games, man, that's just the place to be right now.
Yeah, sure is. It's going exceptionally well, and everybody has a good time out there.
I imagine a world where it's expanded all the way through Lot C in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that?
Maybe. That would be great.
Good.
The more we can get out there, the better atmosphere it is.
Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing that. Can you imagine a Lot B and Lot C tailgate? That'd be a heck of a time. Yeah. Busy day for you yesterday, Rick. Was this a decision that you and the board and any of the decision makers here have been contemplating for a while? Or after that fifth loss, it was just, okay, something has to happen?
Yeah, when you're losing, you always think about what can you do that's best for the team to help them and support them and give them, put them in a position where they can win. And so it's been building. I know we for sure have a better team than we had last year by quite a bit. And we know that they're playing hard, they're working hard at practice, but we still kept losing, and 3 walk-off losses in a row is an unheard of record. I don't think you can find that anywhere in professional football or maybe even amateur football. Just 3 in a row is mind-boggling. So there had to be some consequences, and we're moving on, and I know that Geroy and Jarious will work hard and do a great job.
Well, let's go to Jarious and Geroy here, and different opportunities, I guess, for these two guys. In a general manager position with Geroy, you wonder how much of an impact you can make mid-season. Obviously, for Jarious, I guess. What's is it just a different voice? Is that here? I don't know how much, considering he's already calling the offensive plays, and offense has been outstanding so far this year. What type of difference do you think fans should expect to see with this change?
Well, I think the first change, it's a different voice in the locker room, and some, as you said, sometimes that's what it takes. You just never know in sports. I know Geroy and Jarious will work well together. Geroy will take the personnel side, and it's kind of at a lull right now until the NFL camps start, and then he'll start coordinating with some of our scouts to do the NFL camps, and in the fall there's a window to bring in extra players into your practice roster, so he'll be working with the scouts and the personnel department to see who they want to bring in, and will support Jarious where he is. Chris had both titles, so to speak, general manager and head coach, and he was trying to balance the personnel side and the coaching side. So Jarious will spend full time continuing with his offense duties as well as the head coaching duties. So he'll move down out of the booth and be on the field and call the offensive plays from there, and will still control the game as the head coach.
Yeah, Rick, you did mention yesterday that Jones did not lose the locker room. But again, we do talk about messaging and in terms of how it's being received, if at all. And I just wanted your thoughts on now, and you mentioned Jones wearing all the hats he did. Is there going to be more of a discussion from you downwards through Geroy to Jarious in terms of anything? I know people, again, everybody wanting Trey Ford and all these things on the field. What can you tell the fans this morning in terms of communication as opposed to one guy kind of controlling it all? How is this going to be in terms of communication, albeit in the interim between the three of you? But are you just going to let Jarious and Geroy kind of do their thing in terms of what their job titles are? You'll do what you do, or is there just sort of continued communication between the three of you as to what maybe you would like to see on the field moving forward?
Well, we communicate all the time. I'm not the football guy. They are, and they'll make the decisions on the field. We've talked about the quarterback position, and I've just reminded them that this club over the years have been very successful with two quarterbacks. You can go back to just what we had here at the 75th anniversary dinner. We've won Grey Cups because of two quarterbacks, and there is a place for that, and I'm sure that they'll be looking at that, discussing in the quarterback room what's the best for the team to give them the chances to win.
Rick, part of this process was, for all of us in the market, we're sitting here going, well, can they fire Chris Jones with this ownership thing hanging over top of them? It was reported yesterday, obviously, that the incoming ownership group was asked about this. Just on that front, considering if they did have a say and were made aware of this, is that close to being finished? Is that just around the corner here now?
Yeah, well, first, the board of directors of the Elks still are in control of the team, and that's what I had to do first, is go to the board of directors, and I worked with our chair, Tom Richardson, in getting the board together and gave them my recommendation, and they supported that. And at the same time, we know we're in the process of working with a small group of potential owners. And because it's a material change, we all felt, the board and myself, that we have to discuss this with whoever may be owning this team in the next number of months. So I did that before we made any moves on the dismissal, and that was all done yesterday with working with the board and the groups, and so everybody knew about it. That should know about it, and that they all supported the recommendation going forward.
You were brought in as interim president and CEO about 11 months ago. Would you say that, and I think most people viewed you coming in and being the guy that would sort of help get this franchise back to where it once was. Would you say it's been a bigger job than you expected?
You're funny now. yeah. I did not expect to be here now. So,
that's what I thought. I thought you were popping in for a few months, and here we are, right?
Yeah. So did I. Anyways, I'm still here. I've got a lot of green and gold in my blood over the years, and we're going to do all we can to do the best we can on the field and off the field. And I think our business team has worked tremendously hard, and sometimes trying circumstances when you're not winning games. But, if you look at the game on Sunday, it was a big hit, our Dino Days, and there were so many kids here, and they were having fun, and to see the number of kids that were out in the field after the game, it's very encouraging for us to get families here, and we're very affordable, and it's a fun day for them. So now we got to get some W's on the field, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, my kids were there. They had a great time on Sunday, and mixing a few wins, and I'm sure there'll be more who'll be coming out in the future as well. Rick, best of luck onboarding new ownership, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Bye now.
That's Rick Lelacheur.
Man, do it for Rick here. Did you?
Has it been a more difficult job than you expected? Well, I wasn't expecting to still be here. So
bless him.
He'll do whatever they need.
And
you know what I mean? As an organization, it's almost like in a different role, Dave Jamieson as well.
But that's
Dave Jamieson will do whatever the Edmonton Elks need.
A sign of a successful organization in its entirety. You have people that have been here before that know what it's like.
Care about
they
it
want to
so
get this
much,
thing back to where it should be, and that's good. It's good that these people are here, and I thank Rick for his time this morning, but also just doing the Lord's work. I mean, yesterday up at that podium couldn't have been easy. I think he had a few wry smiles and tongue-in-cheek said, but what do? Like, you can't. You do have to maybe, I guess, chuckle a bit near the end, but it was funny when you set him up like this.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious. Like, if he was he thinking, I'll come in and be there for 3-4 months, provide some guidance,
kind of as you do,
and then that's
right?
it.
When
I'm
you're probably
off.
offered that position, you're kind of.
How
long is an interim, right?
I might be a little surprised if new ownership takes over and is like, "Hey, Rick, just want to drop the interim tag and be president of the Elks for 2 to 3 more years."
Been a good
I feel like
here.
Rick could probably be like, "Yep, I'll help you."
Bones chimes in, and I don't know if you picked up on this one. Interesting comment about the quarterbacks. Trey Ford is going to get some reps by the sound of it. He said, I'm not a football. I'm not the football guy.
That was interesting.
But the one thing he mentioned about the football was the quarterback. And I agree with him there. I mean, this is a league where why not? Have 2, have 3.
What did he say? He goes, I did basically like reiterate with them that we've had success as an organization with 2 quarterbacks.
After saying that, I don't talk about the football stuff. I found that kind of
Trey Ford takes a snap this week.
I mean, lock it in now. You asked me before.
Once again, I'm not that guy who's going to sit here and go, everything's going to be safe because Trey Ford's getting involved.
No.
I like Trey. I think he's a phenomenal talent, but their offense has been great. Their defense sucks. So maybe he can play corner like his brother. His twin brother in Winnipeg's become a pretty good cornerback. Maybe that's what happens. This is that whole Darnell Nurse becomes a winger thing.
Where's Step when you need him? Trey Ford for the D.
Maybe that's.
Can
what
I tell
happens.
Maddie about this? Can I just tell him anything Trey Ford? He just gets. So can I tell him that Lelacheur maybe?
He'll be like. Cosmic Rhubarb over on the Nasty Chat says, I love Rick Lelacheur. He's like your uncle. I wish he could. He's like your favorite uncle. I wish he could stay forever.
How could you not support this team with him at the helm here?
Yeah, I always have a smile when I see him. He's around. Like he was in BC a couple weeks ago when I was in BC. It was good
dude,
seeing him
hey?
then. And yeah, he's just a really nice guy. You want the organization to have success because people like that are still involved in it.
And I think he mentioned it multiple times yesterday. They still view this like, I mean, again, you're not out of it. I know the Memphis Mad Dogs too. I'm saying, the season. No. Like this is 18 games. You're almost a third through. Things can change. And again, this roster is not. It's not one of those things where this is the end of an era and things are crumbling down and everybody's leaving. You've got some good pieces to work with. I like Rick's assertiveness and forward thinking in terms of this dark, gloomy day, which. Again, I think you're moving on from a GM and a head coach, but I think in the end, this is a positive thing. You never want to fire people, of course, money on the books, but it's dawning of a new day. Got to be excited.
Let's go to your Coolbet Canada hotline of the day. We were on Alonzo. Brought up Teoscar yesterday a little bit just because the former J connection, played the song and stuff.
Got him through.
Just quickly on the Elks front, because they play first half of a double dip on Friday, CFL and TSN. They are 3-point underdogs going into Ottawa. Plus 125 on the money line. If you're a believer of CFL new coach bump, could be something that you want to get on. We're looking at the Major League Baseball game tonight. It sounds so weird to say because it's like an all-star game and you see what happens in the NHL All-Star Weekend and you see what happens in the NBA All-Star Game. But the pitchers have the advantage here. The total in the All-Star game tonight set at 7.5. Let's get on the under.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get on the under, right? You're not going through the lineup. It's not like you're going to see a guy on the mound for 3 appearances. Let's take a classic 4-2 finish. Even a 5-2 finish. You still cash this. Under 7.5 in what they like to call the Midsummer Classic. Do people still call it the Midsummer Classic?
I really hope. I love it.
That's branding that I think you had to follow up on if you're Major League Baseball, right?
We are in the dog days. That's when the Midsummer Classic usually occurs, right?
Under 7.5 runs will be your Coolbet Canada hotline of the day, minus 122. If you want to take the over in the All-Star game, plus 100. We like the under at minus 122. If you've not yet signed up for an account at Coolbet, who is our exclusive betting partner, please do so. Go to coolbet.com. Use the code LOCKSHOP, all one word, LOCKSHOP when you do. And you can get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. So you deposit $50, they give you $50. You got to roll through it. You got to bet over it. But yeah, use the code LOCKSHOP at coolbet.com to sign up for an account today. We need somebody to play kind of easy trivia right now. Gift certificate up for grabs. For Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. Got an anniversary dinner looming.
Casualest place ever. Got an anniversary dinner looming. Wow, you really set that one up.
I just throwing it out there. Now, with that being
Here's your
said,
ivory,
we hit Mr. Mike's all the time.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm for an anniversary with my wife. I might have to go a little bit special, something
above
rare,
ultra casual.
But doesn't mean I can't bring a classic Mike burger with me. We sit down there. She orders. An Uber driver walks into the restaurant, hands me a Mr. Mike's bag. Thank you, good sir.
And you're about to pickle out?
Actually, I don't mind the pickle because Tam likes the
Well,
pickle.
whatever. I mean, pickle and pickle out.
Yeah. If you want to play kind of easy trivia today, text YouTube Trev right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you'd like to play, all you need to do is get 3 of 5 correct. You win a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, 780-218-9999. Text Trev, let him know that you want to play. Somebody will be the lucky individual. Have a crack at that coming up here just after 8 o'clock this morning. Oh, I still got something playing over there. What's playing right now? That'd be in the old classics section. Too long. Oh, Apollo Creed.
Dying in America. Why did I? No explanation.
That was the Apollo Creed Memorial Tournament.
Where's the
That was
trophy?
an award-winning.
Where's the trophy?
Where is that trophy? It's got to be
gotta-
around here
yeah.
somewhere. That was an award-winning bracket. My goodness. We will have an EST bracket at some point. The others just played so long into the season this year. It would have been a quick turnaround for a bracket.
I saw it
That's up
on
to date.
my first tweet I saw yesterday, and I've been waiting for him. Man, summer's gone by fast.
Oh, it's flying by.
Well, because of we all knew it would
Yeah,
happen.
it's July 16th already. You can go get school supplies at places already. It's ridiculous. All right, let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric for Claiborne Services. If you are looking for work, look no further. Start your new career at Claiborne Services. Check them out, claiborneservices.com. LTE with the update.
Week 7 in the Canadian Football League kicks off Friday night in Ottawa between the 0-5 Elks and the Red Blacks as the Elks made a change yesterday, firing head coach and GM Chris Jones. Jones going 8-33 in his second tenure with the club, but the team hasn't made the playoffs since 2019. AGM Geroy Simon taking over as interim GM, while offensive coordinator and quarterback coach Jarious Jackson will take on the role of interim head coach. On the diamond, Teoscar Hernandez capturing the home run derby last night. The All-Star game tonight from Arlington, first pitch 6 o'clock. Jays are back home to host Detroit Friday. Closer to home, the Prospects are back on the diamond tonight. They host Saskatoon down at Sherwood Park Centennial Field 9. Riverhawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield. The West Coast League's All-Star game will go tomorrow out in Bellingham. Sports update for Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They're hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Check out www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy. Call Jeff, 780-910-6728.
Dying in America. Why did I? No explanation. Dying in America. Throw the towel, no hesitation. Dying in America. ACMT on this station. Bless his soul.
What a summer.
Oh, the Apollo Creed Memorial Tournament. My God, it was 128 deep. An all-time event. You know, actually, I have to bring that in. I still have the board. I have the Apollo Creed Memorial Tournament. It's sitting right in my little office at home.
Capture the imagination of that Sunwapta building, did it not? Hey, what are you guys
big
doing
time.
down there? What's all that? What are you doing? Next thing you know, you're in Toronto accepting an award. Isn't it something, eh? Bracketology.
Sometimes you're just a big winner. That's something I could take to Pro-Am to get that deal, AM Nasty deal right now on on the framing.
Yeah. Oh,
in-store only. Go on by. Standard framing packages, 15% off at Pro-Am.
look
right
great,
now.
Maddie's office, eh?
Oh, look great. Maddie, what's this? I'm in there hanging like a huge Apollo Creed Memorial Tournament thing. That would be that'd be amazing. Absolutely terrific. You're on the Hangout today?
The full 2.
Really?
Yeah. Are you even seeing the game we want to play?
Are you
here?
going to drink?
I don't mind it.
I think you should.
Why not? It's a little.
You got the 2 hoots over there.
Yeah, it's a little morning thing we can have. Shh, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. But it will. It's an interesting thing during the hangout. We'll keep watching.
Don't give a hoot. Give 2.
Oh, I'll be giving a lot.
Yeah, we don't say anything, but Maddie might listen right now. But let's pretend he's not.
We can say once. Yeah.
Today on the Hangout, Lieutenant Eric's going to drink every single time Matt says Trey Ford.
Have I bit off more than I can chew?
Hey, you didn't drive here today.
I did not.
So
I'll
you're
be
good to go.
flying home.
You're good to go. All right, the Nielson Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Closer than you think since 1983. Whip on out to Fort Sask to get the best deal at the best price. Your go-to dealership for Silverado 1500s and heavy duties. Super casual, family-friendly experience at South Fort Chev. www.southfortchev.com. Go see Daniel and his team at South Fort Chev. Tell them we sent you 15% off accessories on your new ride at 10109 89th Ave, Fort Sask. Coming at you in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio today. Well, that was weird. I didn't know he left. I was reading that liner. I turned around. He was gone.
He bolted there. He's on a mission. I don't know what he's
Is this one of those things like in Avengers where he just disappeared into dust?
Yeah.
Eric, are you there? Oh, he's back. Oh, my God.
I found him.
It's been 5 years.
There he is.
None of us have aged. Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, they have the boneless wings now available. And if you're wondering, hey, are those things delicious? Damn right they are. At all Popeyes locations. Pick them up today. Limited time offer only. I believe it goes till the end of August. All right, who's going to play kind of easy trivia today, my man? Who do we got?
John the Bread Man.
John the Bread Man's going to play kind of easy trivia today. Trying to get his hands on a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. They got the 6 o'clocker lager in the house. You're welcome, or should I say thank you to the fine folks at Mr. Mike's.
Please.
How it works is John the Bread Man will play. He'll win. He'll come by. He'll pick up his gift certificate, and he'll go to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Let's bring in John this morning. Mr. Breadman, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
Hey, are you related to Artemi Panarin?
No.
Okay, I just thought I'd check because they call him Breadman too. So I wasn't sure. All right, okay, good. All right, I'll start the ticker after I read the first question. Good luck, man. Here we go. Which team fired their head coach and GM yesterday?
Elks.
True or false? Chris Jones once won a Grey Cup with Edmonton.
True.
How many wins do the Elks have this year?
0.
What team does Quentin Byfield play for?
Oh, not sure.
Which baseball event took place last night?
The All-Star game.
And Sergio Ramos gets a nipple erection.
Oh, is that dirty?
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Oh, is that dirty?
Frustration sets in and the emotion goes out, and then you just start playing by yourself.
Oh, is that dirty?
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
How rude.
Yeah. Beautiful. Congratulations to the Breadman. I love the fact that he got the 3 CFL questions right and got the hockey question wrong. CFL City. CFL City. Tell your friends. Tell your friends the CFL's highly entertaining.
Whiffing on the hockey, yeah, it was kind of
nice little. I like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday setup, but I don't mind mixing in one midsummer doubleheader on a Friday night.
Sure.
Eh?
On a Friday night?
Friday night.
Yeah.
Friday
Yeah,
night.
are you kidding me?
Friday night double dip?
Friday night.
I want you two, Trev and Zach, to come to just go get 12-pack of 6 o'clocker lager in the form of 3 4-packs from Alleycat and sit down and watch 2 CFL games
Get
back
that
to
little
back.
RAV4 down at the tailgate.
You guys should just go down and watch CFL football outside of Commonwealth.
Is that a thing? Can we do that? Like during the Elks game?
Yeah, but when they're on the road. Man, they should have road tailgate.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean,
why not?
Put up a big screen.
Well,
like
Zach and I will
where the
start
band
it.
plays.
Well, I mean, Century Casino Sports Bar and
Come
Lounge.
join
for the boys.
Zach
So
and I.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You could quasi tailgate
yeah, you
there.
should
and then-
definitely go to Century Casino Friday night.
Yes.
That's a real good idea.
Yeah.
You should definitely do that. I mean, that's a. If
There's
I
a
was
good
in town,
chance
I'd
I'll
do that.
I have it
probably
circled.
be doing that.
Yeah.
But Zach and I can maybe start that.
Maddie,
We'll go live.
Maddie and Milne will be Century Casino Fort Road pre and post game for the Elks and the Red Blacks on Friday.
Get some supper. Good game day deals down there as well. They got the smoky going off, and like I only know the Monday and Thursday. This whole Friday weekend stuff down there at Century, it's all going on.
Should be a pretty good time. All right, let's get into 3 questions too many today here on the Nielson Show. Of course, you can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox, 22 locations in 4 provinces, one good website, parisjewelers.com, 780-218-9999. If you have any questions for 3 questions too many, you can submit them, or you can just play along and text in your answers. If you're watching over on YouTube today, let's hammer the thumbs up and sub to the channel if you haven't already. Trev, can you look up, what are we, like 36, 37 subs away from 9,500? We're closing in on that. So if you're watching archived a little bit later on, give us a sub.
34 away.
34 away.
9,500.
Doesn't cost you anything.
Beautiful.
Nope. Get some good content. Support EST. We'd love it. So sub to the channel if you haven't already. And we know there's many of you out there watching, probably even commenting. And you haven't given us that sub yet, you sly dogs. So come on, give us a sub.
Don't wait to be that one. Just get on in there. Yeah, somebody will be the one that turns it over.
If you give us a sub today, the Oilers will win the Stanley Cup next spring. Give us a sub. All right, Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment today?
Yes, I do. 3 questions too many. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where the Jays are undefeated so far this week. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
Well, that's big news.
TSN.ca right now, the by the numbers, Blue Jays dwindling playoff odds. I don't know why we're kind of going there, and yes, it's kind of so. Dog days of summer, hey? It's not like anything else.
I hope they just continue to collapse to the point where they finally clean house.
Well, that's what you have to do.
It's just like
you playing around.
I just don't know how a team goes from trending so nicely in one direction to just.
We did have some people chiming in this morning that they're surprised that Jones was let go prior to Atkins in terms of a 2-horse race.
It's a nice little fun game there. Well, somebody said
Atkins wins the race.
Somebody said yesterday in one of the shows, I think it was the oil stream yesterday, what happens first? Draisaitl contract or Chris Jones getting fired? No, actually, it was Draisaitl. Was it Draisaitl contract or Elks win?
But I like
either
where you're
way.
going here.
I think whatever. I side with the Elks on it. Draisaitl contract might take a little while. Oh, what's this? Just got a text? Draisaitl signed. Unbelievable. Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding. We'll wait until Maddie goes on Jamie Nye's show to talk about it. Then it'll break. All right. Do you have a Twitter account?
Yes, at Lieutenant_Eric. You can follow on Twitter and Edmonton Sports Talk as well at YEG Sports Talk. Of course, we were all over it yesterday. You want to follow, not only subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is highly important, but follow our Twitter account because you are up to date on anything and everything happening, such as yesterday with the breaking news in terms of Jones' dismissal. So give us a follow in there at YEG Sports Talk or hit up the hashtag LTE in the streets. As I populated that again. The walk this morning, it's funny. The days are getting shorter.
Yeah,
I wake up to walk, it's darker
It's
now.
almost winter.
Like it's really like we're there. But I had about 6 or 7 cop cars just zoom, zoom, zoom. Like first thing in the morning, nobody's on the road, and the lights are going. Yeah, it was all chaos. So I had a slight picture of that you can find up at
I kind of understand what's happening there because if I was a bad guy, I do most of my bad guy business between 4 and 5 a.m.
They say nothing good happens between 2 and
3 to 4:30.
The witching hour, if you will.
That's when I would totally rob things and stuff.
Yeah,
100%.
Saw a cat
3
this
and
morning
4:30.
as well. Walking along.
Was it black?
Nope.
So when I was walking, remember I had to park way up top for that Canada Day game for Riverhawks?
Yeah.
And I was walking down the hill and I walked past like a empty lot. First thing I thought was I should purchase this and build a huge skyscraper here, but then I realized I don't have the money. But then a black cat came running out of this long grass field and ran right across in front of me. Scared the hell out of me. Almost pissed myself.
Before the game?
Yeah, and then
Wouldn't
I had to go a different route because you're not going to cross the path of the cat. So I walked back up part of the hill, went down another street. Went down the next street, turned left, walked across, same cat. It was like deja vu in the Matrix.
Seems like you've been stuck in a loop.
I wish. By the way,
sounds like From.
Speaking of that, so I looked for From on Netflix yesterday.
It's not on
find
Netflix.
It. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's on Prime then?
Prime.
Anyway, you sent me the YouTube trailer. What are you doing to me? I'm not going to watch a scary show like that.
Oh, it's not that scary.
It looks scary. The trailer looks scary. When she opens up the window and there's that creepy old lady there, she's like, "Can I come in?"
Yeah.
No, I'm not watching that show. The whole concept looks actually just like an episode of Fringe.
No, it's lost.
Where it's like a loop. You get stuck
lost.
in there. Yeah.
It's totally lost. They're going script. It's just the setting's different. They even say when you watch the next episode, previously on Lost, previously on From. It's the exact same thing. It's hilarious.
The sheriff's from Lost.
I know. Well, it's a Canadian. They're all Canadians.
Was he a Canadian guy?
Some better than others, yeah.
I like that guy,
I'll say the acting is a little, but
yeah.
Here we are with the Canadiana thing again.
Canadiana
it's a great
thing again.
show. I love it.
It looks too creepy for me. I definitely can't watch it at night.
But there is time travel. There's an element. I thought they get stuck in a loop.
But being stuck in a temporal loop,
That's
it's not
not their
necessarily
thing.
time travel. I know this because I love time travel.
Time travel light. Hey, it's like a
Yeah,
diet.
it's
diet
like, oh,
time
cool
travel.
loop.
Your aspartame.
They did that
with
in one
time travel.
episode of Fringe, and it was a good episode. Have you watched Fringe?
No.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't like Fringe. Fringe. If you're like a borderline nerd, you like Fringe. I liked Fringe. I rewatch Fringe all the time. Love Fringe. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You can just up in the nasty chat as well over on YouTube. One of you win text of the day today for A and W. Tyler and Terwilliger just sent us a link to something to do with Tiger Woods. Oh, how about this absolute boss move by El Tigre? Can we play this? Let's just listen to this. We'll just play this raw right here.
Almost follow up on that. You've given so much to Tiger. Just to almost follow up on that. You've given so much to this game. You've given so much to this championship. But there was comments, last week from Colin Montgomery who said, "Why is he here? He should retire. There's no point to this." Do you feel that's a bit hurtful and you've earned the right to make the decision when you decide?
Well, as a past champion, I'm exempt till I'm 60. Colin's not. He's not a past champion, so he's not exempt. So he doesn't get the opportunity to make that decision. I do.
That's what I mean. You've earned that. You've deserved it.
So when I get to be at his age, I can still make that decision. Well, he doesn't.
I like that. Drop that.
Oh, that's.
I'm exempt till I'm 60. Colin's not. That's why he's
there. You go.
Funny.
I mean,
I also think it's hilarious when you hear Scottish people ask questions.
Yeah, the video form is nice too because Tiger's a bit of a smirk going.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of a smirk going. He's wearing that new swag and stuff too.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into 3 questions too many. Question number 1. We haven't talked about this yet. Do you guys think Chris Jones pops up in the CFL again at some point?
Look, I know the body hasn't even chilled yet, so to speak. Jason Moss. His time here was 1-2. I mean, it was nothing short of entertaining, I guess, both on and off the field. Yeah, we see it all the time in any sport. Coaches are coaches. He'll go away. He's got the money. It's not like he needs a job.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid here. But I think if I'm a team in a few years' time, and if he's still able, and if he's still willing, and all this, put him up in the booth, let him run a defense. Back to basics. Like I'm not giving him a general manager's job. I'm not saying, hey, we're looking for a new direction. Come in and be our head coach and let's model all this thing around you. No. I think those days.
I think the only thing he could ever do again would just be a defensive coordinator.
And I would explore that. But it would have to be with, again, we're not giving him the keys to the kingdom or anything, but going back to a DC, the role in which he kind of reveled in, I could see a situation where that becomes reality. I could also see a situation where he goes back to South Pittsburgh and just does high school ball or whatever.
Well,
he can do whatever he wants.
Thinking.
He doesn't need to do this, and that's fine. But if somebody comes a calling, I still think that he's got a defensive capability in mind in terms of drawing up schemes and plays and everything like that from a booth on a piece of paper. Where I think there could be something there.
Don't you think it might hurt him though that, like, from the defensive mind scenario, he ended up replacing himself with a defensive coordinator this year, and then the said defensive coordinator has had who coaches his system has arguably the worst defense in the entire league right now.
Yep, but again, you could go back to him constructing the roster, to which maybe if you have a stronger GM, like I think Chris,
I mean,
Chris
give him
Jones
better weapons.
And I think Jones, like, it's all business for him. I don't think he, like, all this emotional stuff that people feel, like he'll take a job. If you're off, you want to do his job, sure. And if he was embarrassed before that he had all these titles and he couldn't do it, or his assistant couldn't do it, and he'll take a job if the job's there. And I still think that there's probably a defensive mind in there somewhere, albeit not giving him the keys to an organization.
Johnny Alberta says if Danny Machocha can come back, Chris Jones definitely can.
The GM of the Grey Cup.
I mean, this is all.
Look,
I think there's a DC job somewhere in his future in the league.
But it may not be. I mean, there could not be. Zach Claris is another example. I mean, it's situation, it's timing, it's people around you, it's all of these things that determine success. So, who's to say? But again, maybe the more likely thing is he just stays down in Tennessee and does the high school to which he was wanting to do prior to his second appointment here.
This is a big one. Question number 2. If you guys became owner of the Elks, and just to confirm, we're not. I know some people have speculated. EST's got a major announcement, the Nasty Bash, next Friday. Go check your emails, all you Nasty Club members. You're going to have like 48 hours to RSVP if you want a spot in the Nasty Bash. Then we're going to open it up to everybody else.
The old golden ticket, eh?
I've got a golden ticket. So go check your emails. Respond to Maddie because I know he'll be on people right away and being like, I've got to figure out who can bring a +1, who can't bring a +1. He's got a lot going on right now. He's got a lot going on right now. So reply to the email that he sends and let us know if you're coming to the Nasty Bash. Major announcement, major reveal. Next Friday, St. Albert Rugby Club. We're excited about it. I think you're all going to be excited about it. But it is not us purchasing the Edmonton Elks.
It's one of those events, though, that you do want to be there. Like, you want to...
Yeah.
When people ask after it happens...
Where were you when that was announced?
They say, well, I was right there.
Yeah.
I kind of got to...
I'm very excited about it.
I'm
very excited. We're working on some other stuff, too.
I'm bursting.
Still working on some other stuff, but we got something big locked in, and we're pretty excited for it. All right.
Is there Draisaitl news?
No.
we announced the deal.
Surprise! If you became owner of the Elks, who would you hire for president, GM, coach, and your coordinators? This is like a free pass. So I guess maybe cap. Yeah, be careful with the cap. But like around the league right now, if you could go out and handpick,
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm going full fantasy here. I'm giving it to Rick Lelacheur.
Lelecheur's going to, yeah, okay.
I just... And not to say that, like, again, you're saying I can have my pick of anything going out. I don't... The president role, what he's doing right now and what I've heard him speak, sure, fine. Give it, like, I just... Yeah, I'm leaving that as it is. Give him the boost. Give him the bump. General manager, Ed Hervey.
Oh, Ed Hervey!
He's doing
back
it.
on!
Yeah.
It's Herv's music!
Stuns led roads. Bam. Ed Hervey as GM. Again, this is all fantasy thinking and fantasy doing, money and all that aside. You want my head coach?
I do want your head coach.
Rick Campbell.
Rick Campbell, you're stealing.
You're
Why
stealing
can't you steal? No, we can steal.
Jones just steal out of here.
We're playing a game. We're playing a game. You can take anybody you want from across the league.
Anything happens. I mean, he's got the connection. His dad, obviously, we know the historics there. He's not that he has to, but he's the body of work that he's done in BC. I think, and I think, and again, I know this is all fantasy, not real. If BC goes on and has the season they have and capturing the Grey Cup at home in Vancouver and all this stuff, you could see maybe a fairy tale ending there for Campbell's time in BC, in which, hey, Grey Cup at home, great season. Vernon Adams set all these records. Maybe time for another challenge. And boy, would this be a challenge coming here. So Rick Campbell as my HC. You want my OC?
I want your OC.
Scott Milanovich.
Oh, Scott Milanovich. Another head coach in this league.
Now, again, he's captaining the 0-5 Ticats right now. That ship is steadily going. I don't know where he goes or whatever, but I think, again, an offensive mind in there. Didn't work out the first time here, obviously. Maybe
didn't even get a chance to do
anything.
anything.
And then that's, maybe there's a little bad blood there with some people too, but this is just business. So bringing him in strictly as an OC role, let's go.
I mean, he's got a quarterback right now who doesn't look like he's got a lot left, who's on pace to throw
playing
for over
very well.
5,500 yards. All right.
He's the second best quarterback pretty much in the league right now, numbers wise. Like
I
touchdowns,
know, it's
yards.
crazy.
Guess who's got him in fantasy?
You do. This guy has him.
You have your Zach Collaros.
That's why he waved Zach Collaros. I think Gage is trying to connect, Trev.
DC, JC Sherritt.
JC Sherritt. So you're also elevating somebody.
I'm elevating somebody. He's linebackers running game coach in Saskatchewan right now. I think a guy not too far removed from the current game. Obviously, Elks fans know him well. I think he'd fit right in and give a little more of a youthful exuberance to that coaching staff that I named. Mark Killam, interestingly, off the list, former U of A Golden Bear.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And we've said he's been talked about so many times through these cycles. At what point do you kind of be like, huh? Yeah.
Here's what I'm rolling with. My president of the Edmonton Elks, I was always meant to be Dave Jamieson.
Thank you.
It felt nice to say it.
The Prez. I just want to call him Prez.
Dave Jamieson, the Prez. Dave Jamieson, general manager. I got to go with Herv, too. I put Herv on the list, too. I love the guy.
An appointment that gets the casual.
You want somebody who cares about the brand?
Mm.
I know it's a slightly different brand, but somebody who gets it, Herv's the guy.
And,
so,
yeah,
Dave
reconciliation
Jamieson,
of what happened before, too. It'd be a nice...
Dave Jamieson, Ed Hervey.
That's unstoppable already.
Somebody that I once wanted to quit radio for. Head coach Chris Morris has taken a garbage U of A program and turned them into a very legitimate contender in the country and is churning out CFL talent on a regular basis. Now, that's a culture move. That's a leader. He's a leader of men.
Yes.
That's what Morris is. So you put your coordinators in place.
There you go.
This is the key.
Yeah.
My coordinator, I'm going to go offensive coordinator, has ties to the organization already, Jordan Maximic.
Good one.
He is working wonders with the BC Lions. Look at Trev in the corner. Like, Trev's becoming such a CFL guy. When I drop a Jordan Maximic, Trev's like, yes, an astute decision. And then my defensive coordinator, I am taking the head coach of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Corey Mace. Corey Mace is the DC. Maximic as the OC. Morris is the head coach. Herv is the GM. JMO is the president. 35,000 at Commonwealth opened the upper bowl.
Mark Killam nowhere to be found.
Special teams coordinator.
Okay, yes,
and assistant head coach.
Assistant to
the same
to
role
Morris.
that he has in Calgary right now. Bring in Mark Killam too.
And wouldn't that be something? Killam alongside of Chris Morris, being in the league so much as he has, playing that assistant coach role. Him working side by side with Morris, you've hit it out of the park with the coordinators, and that's what you have to do if you're going to have a guy like Morris in. I love it. Sign me up.
Those are fun ones. Those are fun answers. Dr. J to the inbox and says, guys, we need a parody song to the tune of Alanis Morissette. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? I will write this about the Chris Jones firing. Hey?
Let's
that
go.
just worked out.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do Isn't it ironic? Or something along those lines. I think it just works out really. It's got to be ironic, don't you think? He's such a pain on your regular work day. There's no free ride because he always makes you pay. He's still on me for the $40 I won from the golf tournament. He said it yesterday. He's talking about all the successful things at the tournament. He goes, and also, you still owe me $40.
Yeah, I saw him.
So okay, I'll get you your $40. Calm down. Anyway, I think an Awanic parody song would be great.
Absolutely.
I think that works. And who
Credit
doesn't
to him.
want more
An ode to him.
Alanis on the station, right? I think that would work out okay, too. There's something... Yeah, let's say, so Dr. J says, and isn't it ironic, don't you think? It's like rain on your tailgate. It's 0-5 when you thought it'd be great. It's a walk-off loss when you fell for a fake. And who would have thought? He's working on it. He's working. I don't
Very
sing
good.
it. I sound like I'm about to do the anthem at a derby. But, all right, let's get to question number 3. Boys, with that movie prop draft looming, is this a draft where you desperately want the first overall pick?
No, I don't think I desperately
We're still
want
working
it.
on a date. Might have to move some things around. But
You shouldn't desperately want it unless you're holding something close to the heart, and I don't think you desperately need it either. There's going to be such a wealth of and again, the categories will have to be something. You look at the categories, then you can maybe say, okay, what do I need to get rid of? Then that may change your answer.
Yeah, we got to lock in the categories.
But I mean,
change
there
the
is so
strategy.
much to pick from here that I think having that number one overall would add some pressure. And certainly when you make the pick, whatever it is, people will be like, oh, he went there, did he?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure, but I don't think there's a consensus number one right now,
I
or
don't
even
think so.
a 2, 3, or 4.
Like of all movie props, this is why we think the draft could be 20 rounds because she's a deep one.
Yep.
Who came up with the McLovin? McLovin's
texter.
ID from Superbad. That was a texter.
Yeah, that was great.
Trev, would you want first overall pick? Is there one that jumps off the page? for you?
I think there is actually. Like,
Really?
What
What
I
is
don't
it?
know.
What would it
I don't
be?
know. If, like I thought it was fairly obvious.
Lightsaber?
Yeah. I
Lightsabers.
think it has to be. It's
I'm
iconic.
I'm
one
putting
of the
a
biggest.
first round grade on lightsaber.
Yeah, like that has to be the. Like that's just so like yeah. Like there's so much that goes into it. I think that's what I would pick, but yeah, I don't know.
You think lightsaber goes first overall?
I got Jurassic Park in my mind.
It has to.
I keep Jurassic
what
Park.
prop
Jurassic Park
from Jurassic Park?
The mosquito and the amber.
Oh.
No,
not even close.
I think the
that's a late pick, but that is a good one.
the can that they sneak out the embryos in.
Oh,
Yeah, the Barbasol can.
Yeah.
Everything from Jurassic Park.
The Barbasol can's a
The
good one.
dinosaurs, the whole.
You know how you have to prep for this? You have to watch every movie ever.
Yes.
Pretty much. Might as well start now. Because there's going to be so many good ones that we forget along the way. This is going to be the easiest 20-round draft of all time. Can't wait.
Except for Tommy.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, Tommy's just going to
Tommy, that's a person,
Tommy's
not a
going to
prop.
stack 19 things from Ghostbusters and be like, solid draft. Come on, man. All right, we've got.
I just might go all full Ghostbusters just to throw him off.
Can you imagine?
I take Ecto first round. He'd
No,
just
and
be
the
spun.
proton
Yeah,
pack
the proton-
in a 4-5 swing.
He would know what to do. His whole draft board would be.
Oh, it just
kaput.
falls completely apart. That'd be a good one. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Guys, are the toys in Toy Story a prop or a character? That'd be characters. They're not props. Woody's not a prop.
But that's
unless
all-
a Wannick's running this
that's
draft.
CGI.
But his badge is a problem.
Yeah, something like that
Yeah,
would be
something
true.
works,
But it's
yeah.
not real.
What?
Because it
Sounds like we've got a controversy
Like, right,
here.
if
I
it's
guess
a
so.
cartoon
If
prop,
it's a
I mean, if it's
cartoon.
like, are we talking like movie props?
But
like
I mean,
a prop?
a lightsaber isn't real either.
No, but it's like you could on the set they were like,
Yeah. Okay. It's physical. Interesting.
All right, that'll be good. Just gonna remove Fazilla Moose in the nasty chat over on YouTube. Trev, you mind giving that guy a little bit of a ban? That'd be great. All right, let's get to a sports update. Gager's locked and loaded on the other side. Tisby a race week. We'll get into that. And I wonder if there's been any conversation around Commonwealth about a promotion for one of the hardest working guys every single game.
He's sweating.
He
is sweating.
He started at the bottom. He's still there. But could there be a promotion in the cards for Joaquin Gage down at Commonwealth? We'll get into that coming up here as well. Let's get to a sports update right now with Lieutenant Eric. If you're looking for a huge pizza, he's got details on that bad boy for you right now.
Major League Baseball's All-Star Game goes tonight from Globe Life Field in Arlington. First pitch 6 o'clock. The Jays are back home to host the Tigers on Friday. Last night it was Teoscar Hernandez, the former Jay, capturing the home run derby. Closer to home, the Prospects are back in action tonight. They host the Saskatoon Berries down at Sherwood Park's Centennial Field 9. Riverhawks are back home Friday when they host Springfield as the West Coast League's All-Star Game. That goes tomorrow from Joe Martin Field out in Bellingham. And the Elks kick off Week 7 on the road in Ottawa Friday night. It'll be a different look team as GM head coach Chris Jones fired yesterday. During his second tenure with the club, he went 8-33 while the team hasn't made the postseason since 2019. AGM Geroy Simon takes over as interim GM while offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jarious Jackson will take on the role of interim head coach. Sports update brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain. Serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. It's a pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them today, 12848 97th Street. Order online, www.bmpp.ca, or call 587-746-0550.
How dude. I'm your huckleberry. How dude. I'm your huckleberry.
Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
I'm your huckleberry.
No! No!
I'm your huckleberry.
You tell him I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
How dude. I'm your huckleberry. How dude. That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
I got to stop playing with those toys.
That's,
I had too much. I have too much fun.
Quite a
there.
stack there.
Well, I was working on it. I was
Yeah,
in the lab. I was cooking a little bit.
Yeah.
Having some fun with it.
A little Creed.
If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. They can find us right on all of those apps, just like all the other radio stations that they would listen to online. And if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up and give us a sub as well. It is the Nielson Show, brought to you by our partners over at Southfort Chevrolet. Find them at www.southfortchev.com. Take a look at the website, then head on out, closer than you think since 1983, at 10109 89th Ave in Fort Sask. Go see Daniel and his team. Tell them we sent you 15% off of accessories on your new truck, which is very exciting. All right, let's bring in Joaquin Gage, 2 guys and a goalie, and of course the Wiener Phantom of Commonwealth Stadium.
And Burger Baron, I would say. As well.
Yeah. Well, Gager, I think you dropped off, I don't know, it was like 4 burgers, 3 or 4 hot dogs, the chicken tendies and fries. The crew in the booth was just absolutely, I feel like such a stud because they're like, I take like a dog and then I go, Everybody, feel free to grab something. These are from my friend Gager, and they love you, man. They love you. Oh, you're muted, Gager. They love you a little bit less.
Yeah, I sorry about that. That's shout out to Cass.
Yeah, shout out Cass.
One day I'll just come right in and feed
Yes.
you while you're actually working. Full chef's garb too. Maybe I'll come and put a plate right in front of you and leave. That'd be great.
That would be terrific. The hot dog. I was just saying, like the ratio of wiener to bun on those hot dogs that you're rolling out of the Commonwealth, Gager, one of the most impressive ratios I've ever seen.
The Colossals, man. It's funny because I was talking with Maddie, and he was referencing the 9 and 9 hot dogs and beers in 9 innings.
Yes.
And I don't. Maybe you could do it with the smaller dogs, but even then, I don't think I could do that, Dusty. Maybe the 9 beers, but
not with that bigger dog. Not with the dogs you dropped off. I mean, there's no chance.
4 and 4.
Those. Yeah.
Four beers, 4 dogs, 4 quarters.
If they're that big,
that's an easy one in the CFL. Like that, 4 Colossals.
Colossal dog.
You could do that. You could do that in four quarters, I think.
You have to go tall boys though with that too, so that would make it a little bit more.
Yeah. Good point.
To challenge it a little bit more. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, all right. Gager, has there been any talk about a promotion since the change yesterday for you?
Well, as you know, Dusty, the whole everything down there, it's chaos with the firing, and so I'm going to wait till the new management gets in there, we get things settled, and then as any good organization, things start at the top and filter all the way down. Yep. There will be a full forensic audit of the whole situation at Commonwealth, and we'll see where the chips fall at the end of all this when the dust settles. Where I'm at.
Did Jones lose you in the end?
He wasn't good in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Not sure about the room, but definitely was not present in the kitchen. Had no influence on what we were doing. It's a good thing we had some veteran leadership in there that I think I provided. Coming from as Craig McTavish usually says, he was great in the room. That's the only good thing about
Craig
McTavish that he said about me. But leave him there. But that's we managed to get through. Speaking of Craig McTavish, there is this week. Starting Friday to Sunday, the Craig McTavish Invitational U9 hockey tournament at West Edmonton Mall. I'm coaching a team. I think Belzy's going to be there.
Okay.
I don't know if Struds was there last year. He might have retired because I think his team won, so he wants to go out a winner. But kind of like the Brick, but a little younger. So it's a lot of fun. Just if you're going to the mall, swing by and watch and cheer on these kids. It's a hoot to watch these guys. Do you try to be a player's coach in a short tournament like this, Gager, or do you come in and drop the hammer? No, I'm old school Keenan. I'm pulling goalies. I bring a blender out to the bench, Dusty. Mostly for booster juice. I make a little smoothie, but I just hit the button when things aren't going right, and it motivates my guys because they go, "Oh my gosh, Coach Gage is going to switch up the lines. I like who I'm playing with." So all I do is hit the pulse button a couple times on the blender, and it just fires these kids up. Gager, I don't think I've ever, and we've been doing two guys for 5 years now. Did you ever have a desire to get into coaching, like legitimately? No. It's not your thing, like. Yeah, I mean, I thought about getting into hockey when I was done. Yeah. I commend these guys that run camps, and I've helped out at camps, but that's as far as I want to take it. I don't, to tell you the truth, every time a kid would come up to me after 2 minutes on the ice and say, "When is this over?" I wanted to throw the kid off the ice. So it drove me crazy. Coaching like elite kids that want to be there, that's great, but you don't always get that. And I know it's not all about hockey, but it drove me crazy when stuff like that happened. And to tell you the truth, the parents, I can't handle them. I can't, when they're so involved with it and causing the kid to have anxiety on the ice, I lose my marbles. So I'm not cut out for it, I don't think. Joaquin Gage with us on the show this morning. Gage, the boys had a picture with you, and you were sweaty.
I mean, is that right where the apron is? Because you're rolling an apron. Is that what's happening? Is that why you're so sweaty?
It was so hot. Jeans were a bad choice. Dusty.
Oh my God, you wore jeans.
That was black denim, was it not? Too, hey, going off the EST Classic.
That was
yeah.
That was 8 millimeter thick black denim on the Gager, and so that was Let's just say I actually had to towel down. I had all the J cloths and just wiping down. It was so hot back there, but. Washing hands constantly. Everything's clean. I'm putting out a good product in concession 5.
Gager, the Oilers yesterday. I mean, the Elks gave us more than enough to talk about. The Edmonton Oilers yesterday trading Xavier Bourgault and Chason to Ottawa for Roby Yarventi and a 4th round pick. They used the 1st round pick on Bourgault. A couple of years in the American Hockey League, and kind of, I guess, just a bit stagnant there. Time to move on and get a look at somebody else, I guess.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of the underbelly of the American Hockey League, especially when you could go to a lot of probably the top teams, and there's those players that are close, but maybe they just can't make that next step, or there's just so much of a logjam of a position that they would be looking to play on with the top team. And I mean, if you're a guy in Bakersfield in the Edmonton Oilers system, and you see the moves that they've made already, you realize that the only way that you're getting into this lineup is if someone gets injured or there's some real inconsistent play, for the first few months. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of hope for a lot of these prospects, right? And I think in Xavier's case, this is another year where he knows he's going to most likely be back in the minors, and there's this little shuffle between players. They're not talked about that much, but it happens. Hopefully he does well somewhere else. But yeah, it's a young player coming into the Edmonton organization. It's good because there's culture being built, but look, the chances of making the big club are quite slim.
We'll dive into that a little bit more on Two Guys and a Goalie today, presented by GS Construction every Tuesday and Thursday at noon here on EST. No Cass today. Cass is, where do you say, is in Colorado or something?
Yeah, it's what would he say? It's a business and pleasure. So
business
I think,
and pleasure trip. So lucky.
Yeah,
sounds
I think
like
his wife went with him. I don't know. It's
okay.
It's a whole what was he doing? It was a conference for former and current players for like marriage counseling or something like that.
Oh, and he's going down to speak at it?
Yeah, I think he's going down there and motivating marriages. He's
beautiful.
Like
what a guy.
He's like a young Dr. Ruth, that guy.
Do you ever look at Cass and just go, how in the world did you beat people up for a living? Like, I don't get it. He's like the friendliest dude of everybody who works here. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's funny. He's really funny. He was at the golf tournament. It was really funny when I brought my daughter, right? Yeah. And she comes up and she says hi, and he just looks at her. He goes, "God, I'm not looking forward to the future having 3 daughters." He was just like, "Oh, gross." So I kind of put a damper on the start of his day. But it's
you are the ghost of Christmas future for old Cass. Eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Hey, Gage,
he's gonna need one of those extended carts.
Yeah. What can you tell us about the Hungaroring as Formula One returns this weekend? Hungarian Grand Prix. A little bit of news this morning. Haas extending its partnership with engine provider Ferrari. But what are you salivating over when it comes to Hungary and the Hungaroring this weekend?
Well, just after last 2 weeks ago, seeing all the memes from the UK, like it in our infancy of becoming F1 fans, there were some established racers and we saw some retirements, but seeing Lewis Hamilton and the effect he had on a lot of racing fans that just loved him, like people watching of all shapes and sizes, just like glued to the TV set, seeing him win at Silverstone was a great moment. I think it's hard not to get excited for maybe if you weren't a fan of F1, to see how much that meant to the fans and the people of F1, which was great. But I mean, Mercedes winning 2 races in a row, I think is the biggest one for me, closing the gap. The drivers' standings have shrunken up. The constructors have gotten a little bit closer. I think we're really in a 4-team kind of a battle here, going into the summer break soon enough. And then, I'm excited to see what happens next, because I mean, even hearing about Aston Martin, they've the facility that they've built is just next level, I guess, with their new wind tunnel, with some upgrades coming. Hopefully they can get back into the fight a little bit. But and then is Max. Max is a great driver, and he's doing absolute miraculous things with that car, because you can see the gap from him to Checo. And now you have that battle with him and Lando, like going wheel to wheel here.
It's
great.
just
I think we're from the time that we started that great season with that battle between Lewis and Max. I think there's a lot more kind of action that we're going to see from now until the end of December.
Derek texted in earlier, said, let's add Gage, your F1 analyst here. Please tell me Ferrari won't suck this weekend. Where are you at on them right now?
Yeah, it seems like they took a little bit of a step back, right? They're still close, but not challenging. Not their qualifying has been quite poor. I still think there's something still there. There has to be. Everyone's talking about, did Lewis make the right decision now? Like if Lewis and George go on a run here and start winning some races, I wonder if there's an out clause in that Ferrari contract where Lewis just keeps his seat. No, I mean, it's par for the course, though, Dusty. We've said this every year. Ferrari looks good, and then they just go right into the toilet. It's what they do. So I wouldn't expect them to. I hope they're there, because it makes it more exciting. But yeah, I think they're. If you're going to look at those top echelon kind of teams, they're at the bottom of that.
Gage, your good stuff, buddy. We will talk to you on Two Guys around noon today.
Can't wait.
There you go. That is Joaquin Gage, Two Guys and a Goalie, F1 enthusiast, regular guest on the Hangout as well. A big part of what we got over here. Anytime we can get more Gager around EST, it excites us. It excites us for sure. All right, let's get into That Hurts for SBLLP, Personal Injury Lawyers. Many Albertans get hurt every single day. Some of it's real. Maybe sometimes they're faking. Maybe the evidence that SBLLP finds goes, hey, wait a second here.
Well,
you're trying to pull a quick one on us.
We usually talk about these all success stories, but sometimes it's a
you never know.
It's a back and forth game here.
No need to feel shame when you let SBLLP handle the claim. Go to www.sb-llp.com. Click on personal injury, or just give them a call, 780-438-5281. The personal injury lawyers over at SBLLP, they got the experience. Gather the evidence that they need to advance your claim to ensure you get fair compensation. That's what it's all about. How many times if you maybe should have got something, but you're like too intimidated, you didn't know what to do, and whoever owed you that money screwed you over. Well, no more screwing because of sb-llp.com. They will unscrew the situation. That hurts right here. I'm staring right at it. 8-33. That was Chris Jones' record since coming back to Edmonton.
Give me the home wins.
8-33.
That's a one-hand metric, right? Like the
two.
They went a year, 2 years without it. Like there was a streak there. Like there's a lot of
two wins
interesting
at home.
numbers. Yeah,
you won 2 wins.
But
2 games at home.
8-33. Like that's your full meal deal. No playoffs.
4-14. 4-14. 0-5. When was another time that a coach was even allowed to get to 8-33? Like I'm trying to think of other times somebody sucked so bad for 2 years that they still got a third year, and then also sucked in the third year and led to a firing at 8-33. I'm talking like NFL, CFL, that type of thing.
And if the coaching cap was implemented in a lot of these scenarios and conversations, maybe they would be jettisoned quicker. No, that hurts. Can I also say that hurts maybe for Jason Shivers this morning? In a sense that, he was brought in, running the defense now. Jones kind of gave that up. you would kind of think that if this was to happen mid-season, you would just go with the guy behind him, and then that Jarious Jackson gets the interim job, and fully deserved, well credit. But a guy like Jason Shivers, who at certain times has maybe talked about good things happening and maybe a potential boost or a bump here. He's gone from being exited in Saskatchewan, getting the job here, but ultimately Chris Jones is gone. What does that mean for his future? Probably not too much. We shall see. But we've talked about the defense being the issue on this team. It's not the offense. So I think right now Jason Shivers is sitting there too, probably, and thinking it hurts a bit. Not to say that he lost his job yesterday, but in a sense, writing maybe he's on the wall. So
I'm going to make a bold prediction. We'll mark it down. Surveyor Brett, if you're listening, put it in your phone, July 16th, 2024. The Elks' next head coach, whoever it is, doesn't start 8-33. I know everyone's like, you're such a homer. I just don't think the next coach goes 8-33. I'm going to make that now. I'm going to, at one point, I get to come in, even if they're like 9-22, I'll be like, I called it. I told you they weren't going to go 8-33.
You set the bar.
Yeah.
The bar has been
Sometimes you have to hold an organization in high standard. And that's what I just did. The Elks' next head coach will not go 8-33. Boom. Timestamp it. That hurts for SB LLP, personal injury lawyers, sb-llp.com. Click on personal injury, and ta-da, you get a check. That's how efficient they are over there. All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff Hangout today. Tommy, Maddie, LTE. Got that little game? Tommy, look away. Ooh, Tommy's wearing a rope hat.
He's getting,
I like it.
rope hat.
Tommy, are you hitting the links today? Oh, you look like you're going golfing today.
Real good.
They're a little too short once you sit down and ride right up.
I like that they're not flesh tone, though.
That would be weird.
Well, there's been a few hangouts, baby. Hey?
The wrap, of course, is brought to you by the guys who rap us. Bruce and the team.
How long have they been rapping?
Since 1952. They've been doing it for a long time. It's almost 80 years, for goodness sakes. Maddie Wanch is walking by with a big old box of 2 hoots setting up there.
Better get another box.
Maddie's wearing a rope hat, too.
Yeah, I have a rope?
No, I don't have a rope hat on. No, damn. Everybody could have had rope hats today. We should have texted each other. Could have all wore rope hats.
Coordinating our dress maybe is something, too, for the next book.
Rope Hat Tuesday. All right, what'd you learn on the show today?
Well, it was just prior to the show this morning, and I know we've just gotten out of this realm, but I promise this will be the last I mention of it. Gareth Southgate stepping down as England manager after second Euro final loss. It didn't come home. It's not coming home. And Gareth Southgate won't be bringing it home anytime soon, so he's out as the Three Lions boss. We'll see where they go here.
I learned a couple of things. I learned that the email has been sent out to Nasty Club members about the Nasty Bash.
Perfect. Somebody's
Friday,
already
July
replied.
20. I know a bunch of people are like, I replied.
Love it.
RSVP'd immediately. 6 o'clock baptisms coming next Friday at the 6 o'clock at the Nasty Bash. It's going to be great. There's going to be pouring 6 o'clock lager all over everybody's heads. You can lean them back, and we'll just welcome
Who's
to the
doing
family.
the full body where they walk into the pool, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Somebody's got to have
that's like on
the
Righteous
white gown.
Gemstones. Let's be honest.
Fall backwards, plug the nose, bam, bam.
Righteous Gemstones is hilarious. That is a funny show.
They got the bee in the operating room.
I also learned today that Ken, in the 6 o'clock hour today, had a great idea. I don't know how we didn't think about this ourselves. Ken today said that yesterday was a perfect example of why we should have an afternoon show. And I was like, wow. Damn, Ken. You should be in programming.
He's already a finalist in the ideas category at the Estes.
At the Estes.
For 2024 ideas. Ken.
Best idea, Ken. Chris Jones fired. You guys should have an afternoon show. Yeah. Brilliant idea, Ken.
Yeah. I'll never forget where I was.
We had not thought about this at all. And there will be no such sort of announcement at the Nasty Bash next Friday.
You're almost hitting that wire. You're getting close to it. You're going to trip it. You're going to trip it here.
Exciting times.
Yes, very.
Exciting times. All right, let's get to your sound of the day today. Accidentally played the Apollo Creed Memorial song today, and let's run that back for your sound of the day today. Why not?
Dying in America. Why did I? No explanation. Dying in America. Throw the towel. No hesitation. Dying
Bless his soul.
Apollo Creed Memorial Tournament. Flashing it back to the award-winning days. Back at 1260.
Yes, and great
like
idea
7
as well
years ago.
with our friends down at Pro-Am to get the brackets.
Oh, you gotta get it framed.
Get it finalized here.
Gotta get that one framed. All right. Text of the day today. I was saving it. And I saw she was like, this is one of the first funny texts I ever sent in. He didn't even read it. Here's your text of the day for A&W. Huge news. Tomorrow is National Hot Dog Day.
Can't wait. Like this
A&W is doing a special where you buy one whistle dog, you get a second whistle dog for $1. What can you buy nowadays for $1? You can't even get a coffee for $1 in 2024.
No, you usually need a little for the tax.
Exactly. So you can get a second whistle dog for $1 tomorrow at all A&W locations while supplies last. Because they're going to be moving so many wieners, Gage is going to be jealous. A&W tomorrow, buy one whistle dog, get a whistle dog for $1. Outstanding.
2 split wieners.
Outstanding.
In this economy.
Text of the day today from Joel. The hangout, more like the blackout. Tommy's just like
he's
really
totally
rattled over there. He has no idea what's going on. But nobody does. It's just going to be a totally normal hangout today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Totally normal hangout today. Nothing sneaky going on over there, eh?
Maddie's on the scent.
Oh, it's Maddie sniffing it out?
Hey, guys.
Tommy looked again.
Tommy's chewing hard.
Tommy's chewing hard. He's wearing that rope hat and a nice bright orange golf shirt, and he just keeps staring us down because of hangout. More like blackout.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Lot of fun. New over in the nasty chat says Costco hot dog plus a pop for $1.50, but that's not $1.
$1.50.
I said, what's $1? What can you get for $1 nowadays?
Yeah.
You can get a whistle dog tomorrow on National Hot Dog Day for just $1. What are you watching tonight, buddy?
From on Prime. That's where you get it from. Prime is where you get it from, and the show is called From. All Canadian cast, actors, and all that, and sometimes you can really tell. Other times you can't.
Oh, people already picking
We
up
got the
prizes
trivia winner from
That's
this morning.
That's John the Breadman.
Wow.
John the Breadman's already in. What's going on,
8:57?
man? Congratulations on your win. I don't know if anybody's ever came by to pick up the prize before the end of the show.
I love it. Yeah.
You're setting records over here, man.
Yeah,
Setting records. I
so
like
keen.
it. Somebody's asking earlier. I was talking about the one show. You were talking about From.
Yes.
And then I said, well, no, Fringe did an episode.
Fringe.
And I was talking about Fringe. And somebody's like, Dusty, did you watch 11/63/20?
Pardon me?
What is it? Anyway, it's a combination. It's a James Franco movie. Or it's not a movie. It's a series. It's a James Franco show.
Oh, 11/22/63.
About the Kennedy assassination
Okay, yeah.
involving time travel.
Also Prime.
And you know I was obsessed with Kennedy assassination like 2 months ago.
Yep.
And,
83% on Rotten Tomatoes. There.
Is that a good number?
Well, I think
I
so.
never
It
know
says up
about
there.
numbers on Rotten Tomatoes. Like,
I just like seeing the tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks good. Franco's a serious role. I don't know how serious you can take him, though.
It's serious. It's a little all over the place, but the concept's kind of cool. Not to spoil it, but he goes back and he wants to stop the assassination.
True time travel.
Does
not
he?
Like
Find out
Yeah.
by watching 11/22/63. I always hated the name of it. It's weird to just have
Combination, yeah.
the numbers of a date as the name of a show. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'll just take JFK with the Costner.
Yeah, I watched that last night. I fell asleep watching that
that's
last
a real,
night.
Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones.
There is no
John Candy.
better movie to fall asleep to than JFK. That thing will put you to sleep every time. But I still also like it. So if I'm awake, I'm like, oh, this is good.
Best
and
of
then
both.
it's like 5 minutes later, I'm asleep.
Your
And I'm like, oh,
subconscious
that's good.
probably enjoys it while you're sleeping.
Yeah. And then I dream about it. It's very cool. I'm always like, are we sure there wasn't a third gunman even, let alone the second on the
Worlds are
grassy
colliding.
knoll? Like, who knows? All right. The Hangout is coming up. Presented to you by Two Hoots. Hard iced tea. Don't give one hoot. Give two. tune in for all of the entertainment coming up. Lieutenant Eric's going to be in on the Hangout with the boys today. It should be a good time. I'll be back with the Lock Shop at 11 today, and Two Guys and Goalie with myself and Gager, presented to you by GS Construction. That'll be going down at noon today, right here live on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at edmontonsportstalk.com, small dose of Whale and the Wolf, and then the Hangout will get fired up. If you're watching on YouTube, turn on autoplay. It'll take you right on over. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. As we close in on 9,500 subs, we'd appreciate the support over there. Nielson Show, as always, brought to you by our great partners at South Fort Chevrolet. They've got that employee financing, employee opportunity, employee pricing right now until the end of July. 0% financing up to $18,000 off select 1500s. So if you want to slide out there, you got until the end of July to take advantage of that one. For YouTube, Trev, Lieutenant Eric, I'm Dustin Nielson. We'll be back tomorrow morning on the Nielson Show, bright and early at 6 o'clock, talking about something that Jeff Jackson probably does today. That's a miracle. Right? Like,
what's it going to be?
You have to think. Full-blown all-star game, Major League Baseball recap tomorrow on the show. Have a great day. Take it easy.